Bigfoot.
Message is being broadcast by the Department of Defense of the Republic. At 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, multiple unidentified objects were confirmed to have entered Earth's atmosphere.
Discovery Houston, 20 seconds to LOS Tidris.
The first message that comes to you is you are a divine being. You matter. You count. You come from the realms of unimaginable power and light, and you will return to those realms.
Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from an undisclosed location somewhere in the deep and mossy creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. Live from Forest Tower Studios. Brought to you by The Fringe FM. This is Lighting the Void. And now, your host, Joe Root.
All the way again, once again, from Forest Tower Studios in Cane Creek, Arkansas. I'm Joe Roop, and this is Lighting the Void. Your voice for verity in this crazy realm of polarity. It is Tuesday, July the 10th. It's weird even saying that, but the night's still awesome here in Arkansas, and the moon is still waning on into midnight. So remember to fire up your chakras and sync both hemispheres of your brain together and shoot your magical beam of light through your third eye tonight with us as we peer into the void. The number to call in is 1-800-588-0335. That, again, is 1-800-588-0335. Tonight, we're going to be talking Bigfoot with Thomas Sewid. I've already talked to this man once, and we had an awesome conversation before, so this is a real interesting subject for me, and you guys know that I bring it up a lot. Don't forget, we're also live on the website is lightingthevoid.com. The network is KTLK Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM, and that network is on many places. TalkStream Live, TuneIn, Spreaker, iTunes Radio, Radio Garden, Radio Guide FM, just about every place it can be The Fringe FM. There's a listen line, too. If your internet goes down, 701-719-3971, courtesy of a TalkStream Live. Now, when I talked to Thomas last time, I was actually hosted on Spaced Out Radio, and it was Thomas was the first, I believe, was the first Bigfoot person that I talked to. And Bigfoot person is not even, that doesn't even explain Thomas very well, but we'll get into that in a second. It's just that you guys know I've always been the biggest skeptic about cryptids, Bigfoot, Dogman, things of that nature. But the reason why I like Thomas is because, hey, I grew up in the woods here in Arkansas, and I understand some things about it, and the way he describes the nature of this thing we call Sasquatch or Bigfoot really makes more sense to me than any other stories or any other way of describing it than I've ever heard before. So Thomas really brings it, in my opinion, as one of the go-to guys in the field. Tomorrow night, we're going to stay on this road with Dark Waters. He'll be back on the show. And I do want to say thank you all for donating or buying T-shirts or whatever you've done. I know some of you have clicked on that audibletrial.com/LTV radio to get your free trial. I appreciate that as well, and all the new social media followers. And don't forget to subscribe on Facebook, Twitter. Finally got my YouTube channel back, so we'll be putting our shows back up on YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm about a month behind on that thing, but I got knocked off YouTube, but we're back on there. So everything is Lighting the Void, and don't forget to get on that newsletter as well. We gave away all the books last night, just like I said we would. And I want to thank my team, Eric Markham and Jeremy Scott, and all the insiders and people who helped me. Now let's go ahead and bring on our guest. It's the best thing to do right off the bat, I think. Thomas Sewid is one of the North America's leading experts on Bigfoot with a massive understanding of North American Indian perspectives on the creatures. He has studied under the guidance from Dr. John Bidernagel, who is another leading Bigfoot researcher. Well, Thomas learned to continually study the scientific information pertaining to primates and relic humanoids. He's journeyed the entire coast comparing information about Sasquatch with others who believe. And 28 years ago, he was sent out into his traditional territories located between Vancouver Island and the mainland, known as the Broughton Archipelago. I'm going to say this wrong. Archipelago, to be a watchman of his people's abandoned Indian village. This began his life to live in the bush year-round, being a grizzly bear hunting guide, fishing guide, and eco-tourism operator. He lives part-time in Kent, Washington with his partner Peggy, and they conduct Bigfoot tours and expeditions with Humumu Adventures. Having studied under Dr. Bidernagel and learning about researching these creatures, he incorporated his ancestral native teachings and ways to share a greater understanding about the migratory patterns of the Pacific Northwest, Bigfoot. He's also host of a new television series they're working on called The Other Tribe. Now, this name is reference to the indigenous people of North America, referring to the continent as Turtle Island, which has also been called Sasquatch Island. But seeing as every tribe has stories of the creatures, the name of the show and Facebook group, if you've seen that, the Sasquatch Island Facebook group that he manages in reference to the continent being Sasquatch Island. The name of their operation is Wild Woman Productions in reference to the Sunakwa, or female Sasquatch, to the Kwakwakiwaks tribe he belongs to. And you can check out the website at humumuadventures.com. All of the show notes are there as well. Thomas, I know you're a busy man, so thank you so much for spending time with us here on the show. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot for having me on. Nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think the last time I talked to you was in March, and I was so impressed, because everybody knows, I'm skeptical of a lot of things, but Bigfoot was one of them. And when I talked to you, I was so impressed. It really hit home because you're a woodsman, and I grew up around woodsmen, but maybe not as good as you, but it really hit home because I kept hearing all these stories about now these things that come out of portals, or they're interdimensional beings, or they're aliens, and there's UFO. And look, I'm not saying that's not real, but that stuff was hard for me to believe. But the way you described it, that these creatures are more natural, just like any other creature that's been on this earth, and they've always been here. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. They're just the other tribe, another form of human that made a choice, in my beliefs. They made a choice thousands of years ago. Do we bend down and pick up sticks and make them into weapons, or do we go without weapons and tools and without clothing? And I think that's the path they took, and maybe it's what made them bigger than us, hairier, of course, and of course they're nocturnal because they don't really care for us hairless humans, because they look what we've done to this planet. Look what we've done to Sasquatch Island, North America. We're parasites, the hairless ones, and they show themselves and they get the hell away from us.
Right.
They don't want anything to do with us. And I think that's to a human who made the better choice. Well, I don't think we did. That's for darn sure.
Well, do you think that, last time I talked to you, I got a lot of messages about Thomas, it's almost like he was putting down humans. And I was like, I don't think you're really understanding what he's saying, that nature is a powerful thing. And I agree with you. I don't think that we respect it enough. I think we look past it.
Yeah.
And we don't realize its power.
Any human that would get upset with me hasn't taken the time to, evaluate what I said. The Sasquatches hate us. They despise us. They loathe us. Why do I know this? Well, you don't see them coming sitting at our fires and begging food off us like bears do, or, monkeys. They're keeping their distance, like talking to my fellow indigenous tribes of other North American Indians throughout all of, British Columbia, and also throughout some of the U.S. states, even up in Alaska. It's repetitive. It's the same everywhere I talk to people and everywhere I go. They stay away from us. They have interacted with us in the past. Yes, they know some of our language in the different tribes, the elders say, and these are our counts. And this is what I'm bringing out. I'm not out there to offend my fellow hairless human. And trust me, I'm hairless. I'm a full-bred, thoroughbred Indian. I got 1, 2, 3 chest hairs on my chest. I just looked down and counted the whole bunch. So I'm a thoroughbred Indian. So I'm not out here to offend anyone by terming hairless humans, because I'm one of them. I've cut my fair share of trees down. I've damaged environment out there, building sea kayak operations and float house camps, and being a commercial fisherman. I'm on a ferry right now traveling from Vancouver Island to mainland, where I'll be getting off, and my new captain, who's my first cousin, will pick me up, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to slaughter salmon. Hopefully I slaughter 150,000 sockeye and make $20,000 or $30,000 over the next 8 weeks. Yeah, I'm not doing it for any other reason other than monetary gain. Now, does a Sasquatch do that? Absolutely not. So when people get offended from what I'm saying, they need to use their frontal lobes and show that they got some development and some skills there to think deep and go, maybe I shouldn't pour that paint thinner and that used half gallon of paint down into the storm drain, which will lead down into the creek, which will lead down into the stream, which will lead down into the river. And who knows how many thousands of animals and fish you've killed by dumping that paint thinner and that half gallon of paint you don't have use for. So that's what I mean by using your frontal lobes. Think a little bit. Do you really need to go to the property of yours, and do you really need to cut those trees down? What good is it? You make a fire? So that's what I'm saying. And this is what we as humans need to start doing. We need to start using our frontal lobes, because look around you. Look at the clear-cut slashes where we've logged. Look at the fracking. Look at the open-pit mines. Look at the urban sprawl. Look at the parking lots. Look at the plastic over the beaches and lake shores. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that we as humans, we're all a bunch of bloody parasites, and we got to smarten up, because if we do want to interact with Sasquatch, we need to start showing that we have a little bit more concern for our planet, our homelands. And that's the way I look at it. And that's why I'm trying to find Sasquatch, get conclusive proof, because we know what happened with the marbled murrelet and the spotted owl when the environmentalists in the 1900s, late 1900s, came to us and said that these two creatures, these two birds, need ancient old-growth rainforest in order to build their nests. They won't do it anywhere else. It needs to be ancient rainforest. So the Canadian and U.S. governments protected millions of hectares of timber lands from being logged, from being mined, from being urban sprawl with private property, and became sanctuaries basically for pristine habitat. Right? I'm looking out the window of this ferry to the eastern shore of Vancouver Island with the sun setting, and I see mountains that are extensive with evergreen forest, because I know that British Columbia stepped up a little bit with the forest practices codes and said, no, we can't start at the water and log all the way up that mountain and go over the top and down the other side, across that valley and up the other mountain. They changed their logging practices a few decades ago. And for that, I'm now looking out at lush evergreen forest, and that's what I'm getting at with my research. Not research, I don't use the research word because we don't have an individual yet, but with my investigation of Sasquatch, it's all about getting conclusive proof. And I'm reaching out to my fellow Indigenous Native Indian to work with, because since I spoke with you in March, I've been stung by a couple non-Indian Sasquatch, Bigfoot specialists, so to speak, and it's really soured my outlook about the whole Bigfoot Sasquatch community, because there's a lot of tongue slappers out there that...
Are you still there?
All for grizzly.
Yeah, it's kind of breaking up a little bit. But so when I watch these shows, and I know your biggest thing is, respecting nature and respecting the beings that are in nature, and I could see how, that upsets you a little bit. I think that it's kind of funny if you look around, though. A lot of the Sasquatch stories and Bigfoot stories always come from Indian reservations. Now, you know what that tells me? That if this is true, then either Bigfoot probably likes to be around people that respect nature more. And I mean, I'm not trying to make anybody mad either, but it seems to be that way.
Yeah.
But when I see these TV shows where people go out and, they hear the tree knocks or whatever, and then they knock on a tree, I'm just asking myself, is that the smart thing to do?
The tree knock. You were breaking up quite a bit. The ferry made a turn. Can you say that? Ask the question again.
Is knocking trees, like knocking back at trees, back at these creatures, is that a smart thing to do?
No, because in my investigations, and we're finding that, and I was taught it as a young boy, if something's thrown at you, foliage is shaking, there's tree knocks, like wood against wood, bang, 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 real loud. And you know it's not a woodpecker or another human. And you turn and you go back where you came from and you get out of there. The Sasquatch telling you, stop, turn around, I don't want you up here. Me and my family are here, or myself. And it's respect, and that's what we Native people, and I'm hearing it across North America. And, you know, now that I'm asking the key questions about Sasquatch, Bigfoot, that's indicative of all the tribes, that we show respect to these creatures. And if they wood knock and tree knock, it's them telling you to stop, turn around, go back where you came from. And that's why, you know, we look at, you know, what do you call it? BFRO, Bank Forest Research Organization. Is that the name of it? You know, used to have that TV show, Not Finding Bigfoot. You know, that's why they never found it. They're always out there banging bats against trees. What are they telling the Sasquatch? Stop, turn around. I don't want you to come near me. So there's a greatest example right there under your microscope of why you don't tree knock.
Now,
Bang Forest Research Organization. They proved it.
How close have you been to a Bigfoot yourself? Have you? I don't know if I asked you this last time, but have you've actually been around one? You've had an experience, right?
My closest eyeball to eyeball has been about 60 feet, and on 2 occasions, one just in the last month and a half. But what's really spooky about my Sasquatch research camp is I had some clients there from university, some doctors, and their interest, of course, was, you know, getting to know more about Sasquatch. Well, we went behind the cabins, and we were looking at their trails like we usually do, but I went up into a zone towards my main trail coming into the camp, which has a steep wall in the forest. Well, lo and behold, you know, you can see if you go to Sasquatch Island, my Facebook group, scroll back a month and a half, you'll see pictures of my right foot by a huge impression. Well, that's the big bugger I tracked, and he went behind my cabins because one of the clients saw him that night in, night vision goggles, and I won't say what generation, but let's say they're really new and they're really, really good. And he was like so excited. He's like, oh my goodness, I just saw that Sasquatch looking at me. Oh, I'm so happy I could piddle my pants. He was a British guy, and I just cracked right up. And I'm like, you seen it? Good. Knuckles. And we knuckled. And he's like, oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. You're right. He does have hair like Elvis Presley. And we were laughing away. And, you know, that's what it's all about. I brought a paying client in, and me and damn repeat his pants. He got to see one. And we heard them vocalizing. But the next day when we go up this trail, you know, it's behind my cabins. And my main trail, you know, it's well established. It's almost, 2004 when I put it in. So it's been there. Deck right at the edge of my trail in the thick slough bushes. It's sort of a flat leaf bush underneath the evergreens. And that son of a gun's been standing there, and we've been going up and down that trail not 12 or 14 feet away from us. And you can't even see him. That's how thick the coastal rainforest is with slough and the evergreen branches. But it just made the hair stand up on the back of my neck, because I'm thinking, geez, not 2 weeks ago I was in here with my wife Peggy, common law, and 2 female clients, one of them being a doctor again from a university, and another one working on her doctorate. And this one working on her doctorate, she's been in bush all her adult life, because her degree is focused on forestry and invasive species. So she's always out there, and you know, she's just like, you know, I'm thinking, here I am with 3 girls in my camp, and this big bugger with about a size 20-inch long foot standing like 12, 14 feet away from us going up and down that trail. And I was just like, my God, these things are pretty sneaky. You know, I'd always known they've been sneaky, but I didn't think they're that bold and sneaky.
Well, if that's kind of a creepy feeling, because you're thinking, you got to think, or at least I would, is this thing watching me? Has it been watching me out here? Like, did they just
they always watch you.
You know? So, if I'm from Arkansas, and I know there's been some reports out here, and I know how to track deer, and I know how to track a couple of animals, you know, from what I learned from my dad, but if, let's just say, and I know this is kind of a redundant question for you, but I got to ask, let's just say that I'm new to the woods, and is there any signs that they leave besides a track that we could look for? You know, because I see a lot of stuff, twisted branches, and I don't know about if any of that's true.
Oh, I'm a porpoise and a baby just swim past the ferry here. Flat Tom out here on the Salish Sea. Yeah, when I first got into all of this investigating stuff a few years, not that long ago, really, I was more interested in the whole subject after seeing them out in the bush. But anyway, I hear of these guys and I watch their pictures on Facebook, glyphs out of sticks and rocks and mushrooms, supposed tree structures, and I'm just like, dude, go back to the concrete. Go read a book about the bush and snow and wind, because 90% of them is just bunk. It's just natural occurrences. And then the way I look at it, 99% of all glyphs that you see out there is bunk again. It's just someone that's seeking attention. They have, not too many friends, and they just want to say, hey, look at me, I'm shiny, look what I found, I got a glyph, and I'm speaking back and forth with them in hieroglyphics based on Chinese caricatures. Oh, BS. Come on now. My right leg's sore right now. Is that why it's sore? You keep pulling it? So what you look for, and I used to always think it was bunk until I said, okay, Tom, instead of being a negative, nilly, whiny Indian, go do some investigating. So, lo and behold, we went out into our area because I'd seen these tree snaps. And I always attributed them to snowpack or wind. But then when I read some of the guys that, there's a couple guys and one woman out there, they actually know their oats when it comes to tree snaps. They told me what to look for: snap, twist, and at prominent places that would be areas where their pathways would cross. So when I put that into Vancouver Island, we sat back, a few of us, and went, well, son of a bitch, look at that. That tree snap's got to be, 12 to 15 years old? Tree's growing, of course. But look, the branches. There's probably middle of the summer, the branch there was snapped. There's no needles on it. That one there was probably snapped just before winter. There's a little bit of needles on it. And this one over here was probably snapped in the last week. It's still got green needles that aren't really shriveling up yet. So that's what I'm finding, but I'm finding them at the edge of logging slashes. So edges of where humans have gone and cut the forest down. But if you look at the lay of the land before, and, you look at areas that are on, like the edge of the slash comes up from a river bottom or another slash lower down, or it's on a ridgeway that, to your east and west, it's not too good for climbing because it's pretty steep and dangerous. But here you are in this little bowl, this ridge area that's, a human could walk easily. Well, that's where we're starting to find these tree breaks. And it's intriguing. We're still investigating. We'll continually doing it. But, I'm finding it very interesting because when I was in eastern Washington between Mount Rainier and, Spokane, I think the name of the town was. But we were up in their mountains there, and we found this place that the guy I was with, who's Cherokee, he was, we should go here, we should go there. And I'm like, no, there's no cut. There's no ungulate cut, no deer cut, no from their hooves, no elk cut. We found one place, but when I looked at the foliage they were eating and their droppings, I just said, this is like over 2 weeks old. I said, let's go up. And we went up into the edge of the alpine, top part of the logging slashes, and lo and behold, on a ridgeline, we come across elk, different age classes, and we stopped, and we stayed the night, Peggy, myself, Lucas, who we flew in from the Omaha Indian Reservation, one of my number one investigator out there, and my Cherokee friend from Seattle area, and damn if we didn't have vocalizations that night, and we found tracks the next morning where we heard some noise behind where our tents were. So, but the thing was, I found tree snaps that some of them were probably 25 years or better. They were way up high on trees, but you could see the different age class of evergreens that were snapped, and even one snap that's fairly recent, and one that was 15 years ago probably, and it's all on Sasquatch Island. I'm finding that very intriguing because we as Indians study culturally modified trees which are red cedar trees that our native ancestors on the coast harvested the bark from 600 years or longer when the tree was small and the mark is still there, or else they borrowed planks of clear, straight, knotless wood from the trees, and those trees are standing, 150 feet high and 10 foot thick at the butt, and they still have the scars. We call them culturally modified trees. But now I'm seeing that there's a comparable culturally modified, a modified tree. I can't say culturally, but a modified tree from probably Sasquatch Bigfoot here in the Pacific Northwest. And it's pretty intriguing.
So if I'm going camping, then I hear some knocks or voice activity, then that should tell me that I'm probably bothering a Sasquatch, and maybe I need to move camp. Or would you just stay put?
I would move, unless, of course, you're an investigator and you're crazy as shit out as rat like I am and the crew I run with. And, of course, you're going to stay there and get more firewood because it's on like Donkey Kong, and maybe we'll get a picture of him tonight.
But just...
And yes, we are disrespecting them, I know, but, we do leave out frosted flakes and apples. They seem to like the two items really good on Vancouver Island.
Well, it does make me wonder, a lot of the people that go missing in the forest, and there are cases of lots of people that go missing that are never found, and I'm sure a lot of them are from natural reasons and things like that, but it does make me wonder if somebody, pissed off the wrong Bigfoot and they just end up gone.
Oh, absolutely. Like a lot of people say, oh, Tom, that's a conspiracy theory. I'm like, no, it ain't no bloody theory. It's facts, man. There was a woman killed on Vancouver Island over a year and a half ago. She was coming up from the South City, Victoria, up to the northern small town of Port McNeill. She pulled over at a rest stop, and I guess maybe she had a pee or whatever, middle of the night, because they knew her timeline roughly. And she was found in this rest stop with her head pulled off, her left arm removed, her body all mangled and busted up, her clothing still on. She was not sexually abused, raped. And the police went to the family, her brother, and said, we don't want this to hit the media because we're kind of we think there's a serial killer on Vancouver Island, but we don't think that's what killed your sister. We think it was attributed to a Bigfoot, but can you please keep this off the media? I heard this twice now. I've heard that story up on the North Island, and I drive by the rest stop every month or so, or a couple of weeks. And I was wondering last summer why this rest stop, which I used to frequent quite a bit, was now barricaded with cement blocks. The picnic tables and outhouses were removed. And then when I found out about this and we went and did some investigating, there's yellow, search and rescue tape still on one of the trees there. So everything in the bush will get pooped out. If you're not crispy in the bush, you will screw up. You will become something's meal or multiple things' meals. Might be a bear, might be a wolf, a cougar, maybe a moose gores you and stomps you to death, and then all of a sudden the raccoons and the birds and everything else comes and pecks your carcass, but eventually you will be pooped out by multiple critters. Well, you screw up out there when the Sasquatches are warning you that, okay, that's enough. I've warned you enough. I've warned you enough. Now they're 7.5 feet tall, like Andre the Giant in width on shoulders and biceps, and they got longer arms, and they're feral humans. They're bushers. Me, out in the bush, we don't phone 911 or the police when someone steals your crab trap or prawn trap or breaks into your float house or cabin. We go deal with it, and usually blood is shed, and that person is reminded of theft when they try to wipe their bum, and they feel the pain in their left and right hand fingers for at least a month or two. That's how we emphasize the point out in the bush. When you wipe your butt, you remember, you don't get slippery fingers out here. And if you do get caught, this is what happens to you. Well, that's Bush 101. And, unfortunately, we can't do that in the city because of all the lefty liberalism where we got to go hire a lawyer for $30,000 and the person's probably going to get let off not guilty or a little slap on their hand. Out in the bush, it's a different world. It's still wild. And Sasquatch, you don't heed their warnings when they're telling you to back off, turn around, get the hell out of there. I'm not surprised there's not more people going missing by them. And as the Indian stories talk about, numerous tribes, they're cannibals. What's a cannibal? Cannibal eats its own kind. So that's one of the reasons why we changed the name of our television series from Sasquatch Island to The Other Tribe, because Sasquatch is, as far as I'm concerned, just another type of human, as do most North American Indians. That's why we refer to them as from the other tribe. And when you hear the many stories about cannibalism, well, when you hear tree knocks or things are thrown at you, foliage is shaken, or maybe there's a big roar or the pounding of chest like a gorilla often does, well, it's your choice. Continue on, push that disrespect level a little more as a human to that creature, and maybe you will become a big steaming coiler out there in the forest and another missing person poster sitting on a mailbox or a tack board in your region where you once lived.
No, noted. We're going to take our first break. Remember that, guys. Stay crispy in the bush, or you might become a big steaming coil. From Thomas Sewid. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Right after this.
Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
This is Reverend John M. Polk from johnpolkmedia.com, and you can listen to my show, The Quantum Hologram Matrix, every Thursday night. ETs, UFOs, metaphysics, the paranormal, and more are some of the many topics we will cover on The Quantum Hologram Matrix. Make sure you bring your higher concentric multidimensional selves. That's every Thursday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here on The Fringe FM.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
You asked for it. We listened. Changes are coming to the Fringe FM. Hear the Paranormal Code with Rich Giordano live Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, starting July 9th.
July 9th, we're going to be going 4 nights a week on the Fringe FM.
Followed by Lighting the Void with me, Joe Roop, live at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. Then stay up with us in the early morning hours for some of the best paranormal and alternative programming around. The truth is out there, and so are we. The Fringe FM.
Do you find yourself bored and longing to learn more about the mysteries and conspiracies behind our reality, specifically every Friday night from 7 to 9 Pacific? What a coincidence, because that's exactly when me, Gigi, and my lovely co-host Cortana kicked over the airways with just the right amount of intellectual stimulation to give you that eargasm of conversational excellence that you deserve. So be sure to check out our show, Shift Happens, every Friday night from 7 to 9 Pacific, that's 9 to 11 Central. And let's shake some talk radio tail feather, shall we? Right here on KTLK, The Fringe FM.
Truth is out there.
There's something out here.
And so are we. KTLK Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM. Joe Roop. The call-in number is 1-800-588-0335, 1-800-588-0335. We're speaking with Thomas Sewid, who is probably, in my opinion, one of the biggest, well, he's biggest and well-known Bigfoot researchers and investigators. So, you know, he's got his stuff down. He knows what he's doing. But the thing about Thomas is that he's on the move all the time because he's a guide, a hunter. He's always got three things going on, so he had to step out for just a second, and I'm going to try to call him back. So I think that the way Thomas explains Bigfoot and Sasquatch is something that I can understand. And I know that sounds wild to some of you because, I mean, from a guy that talks about the occult, magic, the esoteric, and astral travel, why would I have a hard time believing in Bigfoot or anything like that? Well, I think it's because I just haven't experienced it yet. I'll be honest with you. That's all it's going to take. Anybody, any one of us that don't believe in this or haven't, just one experience, one sighting, one thing, and it's over. And then once you get on and you have that experience, then you're going to be one of those people where you got a million people like me that don't believe you. And I've thought about that. That sometimes I ride in my car and think about what is going on out there that we don't know about. And that's kind of why I had John Greenwald on last night to talk about those things that can be verified, of things that are going on through some of his documents and things of that nature. But the hardest part for me with the subject matter is I can't tell you guys enough how much time I spent in the woods. I spent so much time in the woods as a kid. And growing up as a teenager and as a young man in Arkansas. And I never saw really anything weird ever. And I've been in the Ozarks. I've been into the creek bottoms down here. I've been into the farmlands of Arkansas. We got it all here. That's the beauty of it. We're in the hour of Venus. That's my phone going off. But we've got farmland. We've got the Ozarks. We've got lakes. We've got bottoms. I've been through all of it. I've seen no dogman, no Bigfoot, nothing. Hours and hours I've been in the woods. But that's just me. There's millions of people here. So I am coming around. And is it something that I need proof for? Sure. But, I mean, that's like somebody asking me, I need proof that you had an etheric body projection, that you actually came out of your body. There's no way I can give you guys that proof. There's no way I can do that. I do kind of plan on, I don't know how long Thomas is going to stay with us here because I know he's on the move. I'm planning on bringing Rich to talk about the future of his show and some of his UFO investigations. But I wanted to hit every subject this week if I could. I wanted to hit, research, the cryptids and Bigfoot, the esoteric and conspiracy. I wanted to get it all out and get it down this week. Because this show is going to take a turn, and it's kind of hard to do. So if you guys have guest suggestions, there's guest suggestions there at the lightingthevoid.com/chat. There's an actual room for guest suggestions, so we can get that going on. Some of you have emailed me about writing for the website, and And I say, sure, go ahead and write something. But then you ask me for ideas about what to write about. Here's the thing. If you send me an email with a good article and a picture, there's a high chance that I'm going to put it up on the blog and put you as the author. So that it's just that easy if you want to write or anything of that nature. Let's see what else. Some people always asking me what they can help with. Pictures, any art or graphics, you could help with that as well. But the biggest thing is just sharing the network and sharing the show. I can tell you that Thomas Campbell is coming back to the program, and I've been invited to go on one of his immersions in London in November, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go, but I really, really want to go. And that's where Thomas takes you into the conscious realms. I'm kind of intimidated about it, to be honest with you, but I want to go. And we're just going to see if we can get Thomas back on here, but I don't know how I would broadcast from there if I did that. I mean, I guess I could do it from my phone. Maybe. So we got you back, Tom?
Yes, back again.
You are a busy man. Are you on a big fishing journey right now, right?
Yeah, I got called by my first cousin. He had a crewman, couldn't make it. So spurred a moment at midnight last night, he phoned me and said, hey, you want to go salmon seining with us? I need a crew. So I just like, yeah, okay. And then I woke up this morning. I'm like, did I dream that? Did I just got told I'm going to get a fishing job, full share for a supposed record return of sockeye salmon to the BC coast? I better phone him. And he started laughing when I told him, was I dreaming? And he's like, no, you got a job. So here I am. I'm almost to Vancouver, and he'll pick me up, and we'll go to the boat in the mouth of the Fraser River, working a net loft for the next couple of days, and then we'll be heading up to either the south of the Alaska border or waiting until the salmon return down to the Vancouver Island area in southern British Columbia, and hopefully have a very profitable 8 weeks of fishing.
Just out of curiosity, it's kind of off subject, but how much money can you make fishing for salmon? Is there good money in it?
Well, this cycle of salmon 4 years ago, their cruise share, I believe, was just over 40,000 Canadian.
Wow.
And then 8 years ago, the same cycle, their cruise share was $65,000. That was made in 6 to 8 weeks. So it's very lucrative when the fish are here.
That's incredible.
Oh, it is. That's why I'm all excited, and just packed my bags like lickety-split and got my butt on this ferry to go hook up with the captain, because I don't want someone else to jump in my bunk before I do. I got to go secure it. That's a fisherman's way. Jump in there, and I'm on that bunk for the rest of the season. I
don't blame you, sir. There is I would ditch any radio show for that, any TV show. That's good money. Plus, I mean, you really get to do what you love for a living, and that's a rare treat, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like right now, I'm looking to the west and over to Sailor Sea. We're about maybe 35 minutes before darkness, and the sky is a few streaker clouds, and it's just all alit with orange and reds and light blues, yellows, just beautiful. And that's what I do in life. Carpe beepin' diem. Seize the beepin' day. You know, I've done the mortgage and the white picket fence and the wife and kids. I've been there. It didn't work out. And I thought, you know, do I want to chase that again? I said no, and that's why, you know, Peggy and I were both been through that same path, and now it's carpe beepin' diem. You know, she's on the verge of retirement. Me, the way I look at it, I've been retired for the last 20 years and just living life, make a few bucks, and do what I love. And speaking out Sasquatch and going commercial fishing, those are two of my most favorite things to do.
Well, you know, my dad used to laugh at people that would go into the woods that wouldn't take protection with them. So when I grew up in the woods, every time I went, I would take a firearm with me just in case. And I've gotten some feedback about that, that it's, why would you take a gun? Do you intend to kill animals? You know, the animal lovers, but I just don't think it's smart to ever go in the woods without a gun. That's just me. I know that sounds so crazy to some people. I understand.
Oh, Nate,
but
it's better if you take a left-wing granola-eating animal lover That way you can throw them to the threat, and then you just turn and walk out of there, and they'll become the coiling steamer. That's the best thing to do when you get those lefty whiners coming at you. They say, come on, let's go for a walk. We won't bring anything. I'm bringing you. And smile and give them that look like, you're going to be a coiler.
You're going to be a steaming coil, right? I get it.
Yeah, sacrificial lefty.
So the biggest thing that people you think they have wrong about Bigfoot is that there's some type of spiritual interdimensional being that's here going through portals and all this other stuff. But the other thing is, a lot of people have misunderstood, I believe, what you're trying to say, saying that they're malicious beings or they're out to hurt people. I think it's just like any other animal. I mean, you give somebody a warning to stay away from your family, like you say, and if you don't heed the warning, they're going to do what they got to do to protect themselves.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, when people are, giving me that holistic mumbo jumbo BS about, but they love and they're all in unity with Mother Earth and they would never harm you. And I'm just like, yeah, whereabouts do you live? And they tell me what city, and I'm like, what's the seediest part of town? Oh, this part. Well, would you go there after 11 o'clock at night with no weapon, bear spray, or cell phone? Oh, absolutely not. I'm like, so why the hell would you go in the bush or the desert or tundra or rolling hills with that sort of granola-eating, mumbo-jumbo, holistic kind of attitude that these things will not harm you? I said, hell, you push my buttons enough, I'm going to harm you. Those things are 4 times bigger than Tom Sewid. So give your head a shake. Use those frontal lobes and show me they're developed. Yeah, these things are feral humans. And they're not smelling flowers out there and batting their eyebrows at butterflies frittering about. These things are hunter-killers. That's why they live out there without weapons, tools, or are found by us.
When someone's come to you or you see someone that say they saw a Bigfoot for the first time, and I'm trying to think about what I would do if I actually saw one for the first time, and I came to you and said, Thomas, I really saw one. What is the first clues that you get that they saw one that they tell you?
Being a poker player, looking for human ticks. I'm watching for those. Basically, if you know what to look for, like twitching eyebrow, a little nervous twitch, not looking in the eyes, looking down at the feet. They're bullshitting you. So right away, when in doubt, throw it out. Yeah. Oh, have a good day. Nice. Thanks for the story. Bye. And, I'll leave it at that. I don't want my time being wasted. The other one is, ask them a few questions. If you notice there's no negative lie ticks coming out, then ask them a few questions, but not directly. Go in a roundabout fashion. And one of the questions that I will ask in the first 6 is distance between the upper lip and the bottom of the nose. And their answer right there will tell me whether they're bullshitting or not. And 9 times out of 10, if they say the right thing, then damn well they've seen one. And the shape of their eyes, the ears, what did the ears look like? And, I'm not going to give anyone the answers, of course, but, there's certain characteristics that you have to ask, how they looked at you. Like one guy sent me a picture the other day of a supposed Sasquatch in, it looked like a British Columbia or southeastern Alaska coastal spruce cedar forest that was old growth with really heavy moss on it. And it's a really good picture of a supposed Sasquatch. But it's tree peaking between 2 trees, and 95% of its body is showing between these 2 trees. And because I went to Omaha, my Indian guide advisor, Lucas, who lives down there, who's one of our investigators, who's, been with Sitonga, their Sasquatch, for most of his life. And I showed him that same face from that picture, because all I had was the face picture from 3 years ago. And I showed it to Lucas, one of hundreds of supposed close-up of Sasquatches. And because it was so crispy clean and everything, and you could see, it was a National Geographic type picture. And Lucas goes, no. And I said, why? And then he told me, because of the facial characteristics, the neck characteristics, that that's not a Sasquatch. And then some of the other ones that are, considered top 20, I guess, in North America. They passed flying colors. Oh, yep, that's one. Oh, yep, that's one. Oh, Patty, that's one. Yep, that's one. But when it came to that crispy clean one in the Freeman footage, you didn't even hesitate. Nope. And so there's people like myself, and I've only seen them a few times, but Lucas, who's seen them lots and up close. It's like us describing a Dalmatian dog. You know, Dalmatian dogs all look the same. Pointy muzzle, black and white dots, black dots, overlapping black dots, skinny tail, longer legs, pink pads on their things. Generally, they're spoiled apartment dogs, so they got long clicking toenails and loppy ears and good demeanor. So that's what Sasquatches are like. When you're around them enough and you've seen them enough, you can ask questions, and the answers you get can usually define whether or not a person's bullshitting you or not. That's the way I look at it.
Now, what about all these other cryptids people talk about, like Dogman and the Mothman? You know, I never got to ask you about that. Or do you think these things could be real?
Out of great respect for the people that investigate it and believe it, and them not being found in our region, I just have to say I have no comment because I don't know. We don't have them up here, and I've never been to those regions where they supposedly are.
Right. I mean, some of these stories that I've heard are so detailed. It's like, surely, you know, they didn't make that up. But then I've seen a couple of hoaxes where it was just such detailed that I'm like, man, some people really go to some extreme extents just to get a false story out, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, does God exist?
Does
God and Allah exist?
I would like to think so. I would hope. I'm just hoping so, really. I would like to think so.
Same here, but, you know, billions of people believe in God and Allah, and we've yet to know what they look like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's one of those things.
That's a real good point. I'm of a nature where I just got to tell you, Thomas. I mean, before I talked to you, I had every doubt in the world about Bigfoot. No offense to any of the people that I've ever talked to. If you're hearing this, it's just I don't understand why there's not more people like you that talk about it in a more natural and logical way. I'm sure there are. Maybe I just haven't talked to them, but it just seems like everybody wants to fanaticize everything, even UFOs. Our research tells us, I believe, 80% of these craft are probably military. Not saying there's no such thing as aliens, but it's more fun to say they're all aliens, I guess.
Yeah, and the majority, too, you always got to remember that, you're a podcaster, I'm a podcaster, you got way more experience than me, but the bottom line is we're dealing with a demographic that, wants answers to questions, yes, but that same demographic, there's a lot of lonely people there, and those are the ones we have to be very cautious of. They're the ones that are coming with these really through-the-roof claims, like glyphs with the Sasquatches and portholes and things like that. It's like, come on, give your head a shake. Go live out in the bush for a month, then come tell me there's portholes. You're too busy trying to stay warm to think about imaginary things called portholes.
Right. Tell me about your show, too. I forgot to talk. Tell me about your show and where people can hear it, your podcast.
Oh, well, since I spoke to you last, I teamed up with Monster X Radio with Gunnar Monson, Shane Corson from the Olympic Project, Julie Wrench, and they've been doing this Monster X Radio for a few years. And, there's a lot of podcasters, as you know, out there, so they wanted to go down a different path than most and said, hey, we know Tom. Gunnar went with me on a boat trip to Operation Sea Monkey a couple of years back, and so he knows me well, and said, we add this to the podcast. And so Monster X Radio started a subscription service called Monster Exclusive, and then you got to pay $9.70 a month, I think, but you get 4 podcasts. One of them is Sasquatch Island, where I basically interview some people and chatter into a microphone and record it like a Sasquatch, and goes off to edit. And most of the time, like we're doing right now, there is no edit. And we basically, I talk about my experiences, my ongoing investigating that we're doing at Sasquatch Research Camp, and encounters with people have had, like trying to do mostly North American Indians, like Lucas. He's such a amazing man, and he's enlightened me so much about Sasquatch, because when he was a young boy in Omaha Indian Reservation, his father passed, and he went feral. He went wild. He didn't want to get apprehended by the police and social services and thrown into foster care like they did when his dad died, so he just ran away and went into the bush. And his family sort of, I guess you'd say, ostracized him because they didn't want their children being taken by foster care and the police. So when Lucas tried to hang around his family, they would sort of, give him a few dollars and some food and say, "Go on, get out of here. We don't want our kids taken because we're harboring you." So he realized that in Mason, Nebraska, the Omaha Indian Reservation, he was an outcast. No one wanted to love him. His father was dead. His mother had pushed him aside and handed him over to the police and daycare, or social services that he ran away from. So he lived in the bush. And when you're a young boy living in the bush of Mason, Nebraska, there's rattlesnakes down there and coyotes, wild dogs. There's, darkness. It scares the hell out of a young boy at only around 10.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All of a sudden, this Sitonga.
Well, I've got a confession to make. I'm still scared of the dark, Thomas. Especially in the woods.
You better come out to the bush with me.
I want to. As long as you're there with me, I'm pretty sure I'll feel safe. And I'm a woodsman myself, but I've never stayed out in the woods at night. I always got that creepy feeling when I was a kid. Especially, there was a couple of times when I was caught deep in the woods by myself, and it was pitch dark, and it was the worst feeling in the world. And I know I'm a grown man, and it's sad to say, but I'm still pretty scared of the dark out there.
Yeah, it's not the dark I'm afraid of, it's the critters in the dark. When I'm out there with a gun, it gets pretty spooky, but it's normal. I'm not going to lie, I get scared out there too. Just bring the 12 gauge a little closer and make sure your knife's right where you know where it should be and where those spare shells or bullets are. All's fine. None of anything should happen. Light them up.
Right.
Start squeezing trigger.
Well, are you having to? I think you have to go, right? Do you got to leave?
Yeah, I'm getting pretty close to the terminal here. My captain's texting me a wave. But what you could do is just let me disappear for like 5 minutes and then call me back. And I can talk right up until I jump in the vehicle. Even when I'm driving, I can talk to you guys.
Okay, all right. So what we'll do is we'll just take we'll take this break and then we'll be right back. I appreciate it, Thomas.
Yeah, then phone me back. There's the announcement there. So, just phone me back after the break, 5 or 10 minutes, and, we'll talk again.
All right. All right, guys, we'll be right back.
You're listening to KPLK, The Fringe FM.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. There's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
We've heard your feedback loud and clear. You called it out, and now we're answering. All new live programming, 5 nights a week. Always remember, the Fringe FM is for you, the listener, and we appreciate your feedback. Keep the feedback coming. You can email us at talkback@thefringe.fm. Call the station at 501-777-5631 or send us a message on Facebook at The Fringe FM.
Who were the real ancient Egyptians? What is it about ancient Egypt that captivates us all? The critically acclaimed series Magical Egypt is back with all new episodes. Let Chance Gardner and company take you on another adventure through Magical Egypt in the new series Magical Egypt 2. Magical Egypt 2 attempts a forensic reconstruction of the science of the ancients through a study of ancient aesthetics. Also, the best researchers and authors in the field like John Anthony West, Graham Hancock, Laird Scranton, Robert Bouval, Lon Duquette, Aaron Cheek, and more join together to explore the topics of the esoteric and the hidden messages of the ancient Egyptians. Just go to magicalegypt.com right now and put in the code word FRINGE and get 10% off any download or order, including the groundbreaking original Magical Egypt series, as well as the new episodes in Magical Egypt 2. Also, check out the great work and the companion series at magicalegypt.com. Click the banner on the Fringe FM or go to magicalegypt.com and use the code word FRINGE and get 10% off your order today while it lasts.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply and, of course, the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic. And very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
This is Cortana from Shift Happens, telling you to pour a glass and park your ass if you're listening to KTLK's The Fringe FM. Shifthead.
To Lighting the Void. I'm Joe Roop. We're live on the Fringe FM, also live on the Fringe FM and lightingthevoid.com. Make sure that you download the Fringe FM app as well. It's there for you to download on the Google Play or iTunes App Store. It does not have a chat room, but it's got links to everything else and recently played tracks. It's just another way to listen to the network, so gotta love the Fringe FM. And also remember now that the show is going to be on Monday through Thursday night, and we're going to do our best and get the guest on here to try to give all these listeners out there another option for the night, because you got so many now, and that's cool to me. And plus, I'd like to have my weekends back, just to be honest with you. I want my weekends back so I can hang out with my kid and the cat and do stuff. And it's really going to help out the life and the network as well. It's going to help out the life of me and my son. The way I was doing it before, just a couple nights a week, I mean, you know, that was cool, and it was awful convenient for a couple of people out there, but I was finding out that it wasn't convenient for the listening audience, especially the audience that likes to listen to alternative news or anything paranormal. So we got a lot of planned for the show. You can already tell, as I'm sure, that I didn't quite get this show segmented the way I wanted to this week, but this weekend I plan on doing a few more things. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. The call-in number is always going to be there, and I know that some people say I'm wasting my time with that, but I don't care. I love call-ins. I want to try to make this a call-in show. I do know that that's going to take a while, and that's okay with me. But as that number stands right now, it's 1-800-588-0335 is the number. It's toll-free just for you, Don, and Spreaker Chat, because you always complain that there was no way to call from Canada. Well, there it is. Toll-free from Canada, the U.S., pretty much everywhere in North America. I believe it's free. I know for a fact it's free in the U.S. and Canada. And then I'm also going to set up a Skype account for international calls as well. We're going to try to get Thomas back on the phone. I believe I got to get him back on the phone. I got so many questions about this. If you guys want to join any chats that we have, we got 2 chat rooms. One is the Spreaker Chat, and that's under the Fringe FM or under Lighting the Void on Spreaker. There's people chatting in there now. I see Craig, Baker, Don, Kat, Dennis, Yeg. And see, here's something that I want you guys to understand, and you too, Kurt. I'm working in what's called the web console here. So when I see this chat room fly by, I say hi to as many people as I can when I see them. So please don't develop a complex if I don't say hi to you. I try to do it, but it's not one of those deals where I'm going to say hi to everybody every night, but I will try my best. I like interacting with you guys for sure. And then we have the Discord chat, which is at lightingthevoid.com/chat or thefringe.fm/chat. And that place is great for show notes, links, or anything that you want to post. And I know this is a bunch of cleanup stuff, so I just got to tell you about it so you know all of the resources there. And I'm making some new shirts for the show because Craig said that he's not going to wear a T-shirt with my name on it. And I got to thinking about that, and I said, well, I can understand that. So we're gonna have all kinds of different stuff for you. We're even making right now fitted hats, and they're gonna have stuff on the front and the back, trucker hats, bunch of swag, and we'd only make like $1 or $2 off the stuff. But I think it'd be kind of nice if some of you want that stuff because you've asked me about it to have it. So it's another way to support the show. Another way you can support the show is the audibletrial.com/LTV radio or donate. And that's my sales pitch. God, don't you hate that? I heard that there's a phrase now. It's called e-begging. I was talking to some friends of mine in the chat room, and that's the Discord chat the other day, and that's what they call it, e-begging. And I listened to some samples of people that are asking for support, and I don't think I'm e-begging. I'm trying to find ways for people that don't have any money, because believe me, I know when you don't even have $1 in your pocket, as crazy as that sounds, how they can still support and help out, because from what I gather, you want to. And our little, I guess, we got a little clique here. We don't have thousands of listeners yet. We don't have thousands of listeners yet, but we've got a clique of people here that are trying to do everything they can to help out. And I'm telling you guys, I'm trying to do everything I can to help you. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. And then I got the YouTube channels coming back. So I'm a month behind on there, and I got to upload YouTube videos, which is god-awful. Takes hours to upload a YouTube video out here in the country, and I'm about 20 videos behind. So, enough complaining. I'm going to try to get Thomas back on the phone. It may be an impossibility. with what's going on. But when you want to talk to real Bigfoot people, that, like I said, like researchers, they're not a dime a dozen. So it's worth the effort, in my opinion, if you ask me, to get him back on the line here. And if you got any questions, if you just don't want to call in and you got any questions, you can also drop your questions in the chat room in caps, and I'll do my best to grab the question and ask it to the guest.
Oh, Tom here again.
Hey, Tom. Thanks, man. I appreciate you picking up the phone. What's your status right now?
Problem,
Are you still good?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm still good. We just touched down landing here in a place called Broughton on the south side of Vancouver, just right across the border from Washington State. So now I got to walk out, grab my bags, and jump in the vehicle, but I can keep talking.
Well, so if I wanted to go out in the woods and I wanted you to take me on a Sasquatch adventure, what do I got to do? What website do I got to go to? How do I get this done? Do I got to book it a month out or what?
No, it's better to give me some lead up. And the best thing is I'm studying their migration patterns based on the highest concentrations of protein at given seasons. So right now we're in berry time and ungulate drop, meaning elk and deer, mountain goats on the mainland are dropping their fawns. So that's where the Sasquatches will be. Is same with bear cubs. They're after those as well. Easy protein to harvest. And after this, the berry time and the fawn drop, then we're going to get into the salmon season. Salmon will start hitting rivers here in the next couple of weeks in southern British Columbia. Up in Alaska, it's a lot earlier, mind you, and then down Washington State a little bit later than BC, South Coast. So everything's different times in different regions from basically Alaska up the start of the Aleutian Islands all the way down to Northern California. It's all different seasons, but it's all high protein that they're going after. And then after salmon, of course, there's shellfish in my region, the northeastern Vancouver Island. This time of the year, I really like being up in the Alpine, get up in the logging roads. Some of them get us right to the edge of the Alpine where the timber stops, and we hike up and get into the Alpines, listen, camp out. And so there's all different areas. And, in the summer, late summer of mid-September through into early fall, winter, we like to use boats and go out to the shellfish beds, and we have a big migration that takes place from Vancouver Island and the mainland into what you were trying to say earlier, the Broughton Archipelago, which is between northeastern Vancouver Island and the mainland. And it's just a labyrinth of well over 1,000 islands and islets, and it's heavy shellfish beds. Well, during the end of September into beginning of winter, you'll start get a lot of vocalization there at nighttime, and that's the Sasquatch, different individuals and clans coming in, and they vocalize no different than a bunch of rowdy commercial fishermen walking into a bar in a port, in Prince Rupert in the beginning of fishing season. They're yelling back and forth, where you been, what have you been up to? Some of the fishermen, when I go to my first bar here in the next couple of weeks in some port, they're going to be just amazed that, holy Christ, look, the old white-haired old Tom Sewid. He's dyeing his hair, number one, and look at him. He's still commercial fishing, that old bastard, 53 years old. But they haven't seen me in 15, 20 years because I've sort of been, laying low, doing other things. So the vocalization is huge. And so the best way is to just email me. I'm going to tom.sewid, SEWID, spell that, tom.sewid@gmail.com. Give me a call, email, and touch base. You're the one that knows your schedule. So, hey, I'm going to have 2 weeks off. When should I take it? September, October, November, December. And I'm probably going to tell you, well, let's go in September. It's a little warmer than the rest of the month. And, we take it from there. Give me your phone number. We'll communicate. We'll set it all up when you want to go, and then we do require 50% security to secure your booking, basically, because it's no different than booking an airplane or a hunting trip. You got to put some security down to get on the calendar, so to speak, and we set it all up, and I advertise it if you want more people, and if we can get a bigger boat, more people, cheaper it is, and we go out throughout northeastern Vancouver Island. You want to go to Washington State, you can't make it into Canada because of DUI or something. Well, then we'll do it in Washington State. I got Philip Baines. He's a Cherokee native with a great 4x4 club cab, so we can squeeze 4 people in comfortably, 5 in a little uncomfortably in the back seat. Got a canopy, tents. We can go out, for a few hours. We can go out for multi-days. I got the Sasquatch Research Camp, which has 5 cabins on northeastern Vancouver Island. We use it year-round. We have a lot of activity there. And we have another place that's right now in tourist season because of whales and fishing and grizzly bear tours. You don't want to be on Vancouver Island that much this time of the year. But during September onwards, all these resorts are empty. Well, there's one that's located at an estuary of a river. Big, heavy-duty shellfish beach there. Cabins, and it's just awesome for Sasquatch investigating, vocalization, tracks. Hopefully we still got a few distant FLIR pickups last winter there, but it'd be nice to get a nice close-up. That's what it's all about. We're playing a cat and mouse game with North America, Sasquatch Island's greatest hide-and-seek champion. And, I'm sure there's a lot of whiners out there that'll bitch and moan about, oh, why haven't you got a body? Why haven't you got a picture? They're always blurry. And like I said to them, get your fat ass out there, because my fat ass is out there humping through the bushes and the rain and the sleet and the mud and the slippery beaches at low tide. Get out there, then you got a right to whine and bitch. And if not, shut your yap, because I sure as hell don't want to hear you.
There's a question in chat by Sammy. Does Thomas know how to distinguish the smells of a Bigfoot? For example, we have places I know where I can tell by smells. We have mountain lions versus Bigfoot smells. In Florida, they call him, or by calling it a skunk ape. It smells like a skunk. Is there a particular smell to the creatures?
Ours, it depends where you are. It could be almost like a black bear smell, mossy. And then when they're excited, they feel threatened. Then they, from what I understand from the primatologists, they'll excrete that scent from their glands based on their armpits, they tell me. And that's that gagging human street person pushing a shopping cart who hasn't had a bath in 2 years kind of smell times 20. That's a Sasquatch.
Oh, wow.
So if it's a Sasquatch or an elk or a deer or even a cougar or a wolf, yeah, I can tell the difference in smells. I lived out in bush for decades, so, I have a right ear blown out by my hunting clients who got too excited and squeezed off on animals before I had my earplug in. So my right ear is dead, so in my eyes, I wear contacts and glasses. So what's my greatest sense out in the bush? My nose.
Yeah, I was always good. I can still smell it. I know it sounds weird, but I can still smell a deer, and if a snake is around, I can smell them too. Like, from where I live, I guess everything has a particular smell, and you get used to it,
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If there's a snake around, all you're going to smell is the poo in my pants as I'm running away. I'll take on a rabid grizzly bear before I take on a goddamn snake. I hate snakes.
You know that I hate them too, man. But I usually let king snakes go. But the black widow has made its way into Canada a long ways. I'm hearing now.
They've warned us about them since I was a kid, and I only seen one in my entire life. That was about 10 years ago. But it's one of the things nature. You never know what you're going to see and come across.
Yeah, now we got these weird ticks in Arkansas that are down here that have supposedly come from Asia. So I don't know how this stuff is moving around. I don't know if it's climate change or it's just getting in people's trucks and trailers. But black widows are no joke. I see so many of them here, and they freak me out. Snakes and spiders freak me out more than anything.
Yeah.
And that goes back to that goes back to those people saying that, oh, beautiful nature and beautiful animals and creatures. Well, if you ever been stung by a wasp or bit by a snake or, tore apart by an alligator, everything isn't beautiful out there. Not all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And like, it's like I say, like the guys that are talking about these glyphs with the Sasquatches and portholes and that, and smelling flowers and chasing butterflies, I got no time for it. I know what animals can do. One of my most scariest encounters was with deer, a 2x3 point deer. It had a tongue out, had a erection, and full rut. And here the thing's coming up to me, and I think it's going to gore me, and I don't have any bullets. I'm out.
Oh, no.
And, I'm sitting there going, Jesus Christ, here I am, a big grizzly bear hunting guide, and I'm going to get taken out by a freaking deer.
Well, it would have been number one on YouTube. No offense or nothing, but if somebody would have caught that on video, it would have been all over the place.
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing. Like in Omaha, Nebraska, Lucas, who's, when I went down there last June and spent 2 weeks with him, I learned one thing real quick. That guy's a bushman. And he taught me a trick about, and I'm going to pass it on to all the listeners. If you take cedar boughs, and they're down there in Nebraska, and you take cedar boughs from here in coastal British Columbia, and you rub it in your neck, pick up your human scent and oils, and rub it under, not right under your armpits, but just at the edge there by your chest and each side. And then put it in your pocket and put another piece under your hat. It's like walking around like Richard Nixon with your two hands up with the peace symbols. You're telling them through the scents of the cedar oils and the human scent oils that you're coming in peace. And I tried that, and I noticed that I had a whole different reaction from the Sasquatch that's been hanging about, basically a scout at our kayak research camp. All of a sudden, he showed himself to me. He stepped out of a tree, behind a tree. He looked at me, and I seen his eyes blink 3 times, and he turned to his left, and he walked in the forest. I told my client, look to the right, I got to look for a second one. And all of a sudden, my client, as I said earlier in the podcast tonight, he was just about piddled his pants. He was so excited he saw a Sasquatch. So twice that's happened now within 2 months. So Lucas is onto something with that cedar boughs, the oils mixed with the human oils. So does it work? I think it does. Am I trying to convince every listener out there that it works? No. Go try it yourself. You know your territory. You know your critters if you're investigating. Try it out. Maybe you too will see a positive reaction as we speculate we have. And you can share it with us on podcasts or email me at Sasquatch Island, private message me, or you can put it on a comment in the thread and I'll get a hold of you. But that's what investigating is all about, sharing our things that we've done wrong and sharing the things that we find that we're getting a positive with. And that's how we're going to find that conclusive proof, by working together.
Interesting.
I was working with a guy there with, he's called Northwest Extreme Expeditions, and he came out with me twice. Basically what he did was he did his recon. Now he's advertising all over the internet these trips in my backyard. Well, I'll tell you what, I can go to his website and read the dates when his trip's going to take place. I can get my people out there in fish farms, clam diggers, and Indian villages, and halibut longliners to watch. And if they see a yacht up there outside of yachting season, they're going to tell me by phone call or text or email. And I'm going to go up there, and if that guy thinks he can come into my backyard and make money doing expeditions on what I taught him without involving me, well, I'm going to go into the places where he's anchoring. I'm going to light it up with fireworks, social and ceremonial moment. There ain't going to be no Sasquatches within 20 miles of them after I'm done. So that's the negative side. So, yeah, there's a lot of fork-tongued con artists out there that are just greed and in it for the money and self-recognition and spotlight on them. Fine, I'll help them. But they're damn going to pay me, and they're going to damn put me in the royalties and commissions and shares and things like that. But if they want to do like this guy's doing, well, I'm going to make sure there ain't a Sasquatch within 20 miles of him when he's up there. And that's wrong. And that's why, I say that, we really have to watch what we're doing, because it's not like the city. Once you get to the bush, it's a whole different world out there.
Yeah, it's like everybody's trying to jump on the story, right? And then take full advantage of it. I've seen that happen before. I've seen it happen in my state.
Yeah, and me, I'm not bragging or anything, but my recognition in the Sasquatch Bigfoot world is really taken leaps and bounds in the last 4 years. You know, a lot of it I attribute to Todd Neese from the American Primate Conservancy. You know, he advocated Tom Sewid. You got to listen to this Indian from up in British Columbia. This guy, he's dialed into something that we have decades behind on. And, you know, because of that, you know, I have my own podcast with Monster X Radio and Monster Exclusive called Sasquatch Island. I have a great big following, building constantly by the day on Sasquatch Island Facebook group. And, you know, if I put my shirt on, I can't go on the ferry like I just got off, because people are coming up to me going, hey, I want my picture for my Facebook with you. Can you autograph this? And that's cool. That means people are listening, and they're interested as well on conclusive proof of the existence of Sasquatch Bigfoot. And that's what it's all about. But we have to do it with ethics and integrity. And when people want to come and, you know, try to make a profit off us investigators, especially off us Indians, because us Indians are sick and tired of being exploited for the last 500 years, and especially in the last 100 years. And if someone wants to come in and exploit this Indian, yeah, I'm going to go light up that bay where they're anchored out expecting to see Sasquatches on their flares at night with fireworks. You know, just having fun.
Well, that's interesting. Earlier you said some guy might possibly have some kind of formula that he's made up to where he could actually get them to come to him a little bit. I hope that's true.
I call bullshit on that. Yeah, no, they're not going to come to you. They're curious. They have, Lucas has taught me, they have scouts, harvesters, hunters, and rogues. Rogues you don't want to be around. They're displaced clan leaders, and they've gone rogue. They've gotten bigger. You know, that's why we hear about these big 8.5+ tall Sasquatches that have cap and attitude right off the get-go. They're rogues. They're like rogue wolves, rogue male lions from, you know, in Africa. A rogue animal, male, is a rogue, period. And when Sasquatches go rogue, and I know I ran into one a few years ago, you don't want to be around them. You know, they're just ornery cusses that are just, you got to remember, it's like anyone, you know. Look at, what's his name there, Obama. You know, he wasn't too smiley after he got dethroned as the president. You know, same as up here in Canada. We had a prime minister called Stephen Harper. He's the most arrogant, pompous little ass you ever saw on TV. But as soon as he got ousted in the vote and lost his majority government, you know, we still haven't seen him on TV because he's all got lemons up his butt, sour pussing away somewhere in some mansion counting his money. But, you know, he got dethroned. He went rogue. And that's like Sasquatches. When they go rogue, you don't want to be investigating that one. You want to be heeding his warnings if he's even giving them to you, and get the hell out of there, because he's just going to go ape shit on you.
Rogue Sasquatches. That's even scarier. That's scarier to me than seeing a bunch of them, I would think, because they're out on their own in survival mode, you know. But I thought you said earlier that some guy had come up with something that kind of helps you see them. I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood that.
Well, that's Lucas. That's the cedar boughs. Using the cedar bough scent with the human scent.
Gotcha.
That's the guy who came, not a formula, it's just an indigenous person way of covering your human scent. We do it here in the coast, but we use spruce when we go hunting. We rub ourselves in spruce boughs or hemlock to cover our human odor. But according to him in Omaha, cedar oil and human oil is sort of like putting up your hand with a peace signal. It's, you know, you're telling through scent that you mean no harm. And something that I tried, and, you know, twice we saw it, and I'm thinking that's probably what caused it to show itself twice. The last 2 times we were at the Sasquatch research camp. And I went in there a couple times on my own in the last 2 months. And when I told Peggy, my common-law wife, she was just like, "You did what?" I said, "Yeah, I went in alone." What was it like? And I described it. And, you know, yeah, I knew I was being watched, you know, and what surprised me was hearing him when he came in for the food that I left out from the 3 apples and some frosted flakes on a log. You know, he wasn't stealthy. He let me know. Hey, I'm getting out here. And, you know, I was like, should I get up and take a picture? And I'm just like, do I really want to get up and look? And, you know, I'm just like, no, maybe I'll just like try to keep that. Okay, I'm cool. You cool? I'm cool. You cool? I'm cool. Maybe I can up it the next time I come in alone or with people, and maybe get that interaction going at a different, higher level. So instead of sitting up and taking a picture, which I knew if I did with my flash, it would have reflected off the glass window. It would have been a shitty picture if it even turned out. And everyone would have been bitching, whining, moaning, going, oh, that's this, that's that, it's not this, it's blurry. And I just thought, no, maybe I just lay here and just, I be cool, he be cool, we both be cool. Maybe next time we do get a daylight picture without a flash. And that's how I looked at it. It wasn't about the now. It was about the now down the road, trying to build that interaction. And if you read the books by Diane Fossey and others about Diane Fossey and Jane Goodall and others that have studied primates and wolves and different animals, that's what they've always done. They've never blown their load right off the get-go. They've taken their time. And then all of a sudden they get the cover of National Geographic shot. And so, we know in the Sasquatch Bigfoot world how many people have made mistakes by getting excited and trying to get that perfect picture, and it just gets fuzzy. So know your history so you're never destined to repeat their failures is what I'm getting at. Use your frontal lobes, and that's what I'm doing. I have 53 years old. Maybe I have another 20 years left in my life or more, but there's no reason why I need to scare him with a flash. I need to get him to a point where he's comfortable with me, and that's what I'm trying to do with that Scout. And we just call him Scout because it's the same one I've seen 3 times down there, and I've seen his footprints numerous times. I know it's the same one, and Lucas says they will always have a Scout or 2 on you, and their job is just to keep your 6, watch you. And if you're a threat to their clan, then they do their thing to get communication to the main clan that, okay, humans starting to go sideways here, you better move off or whatever.
Yeah, we need a Thomas Sewid hunting for Sasquatch guide. Number 1, stay crispy. Number 2, use your frontal lobe.
Don't become a steaming coiler. Yeah, and number 4, don't ever become a steaming coiler in the forest.
We're going to take our break. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere right after these messages.
Bye.
This is Preston Dennett from PrestonDennett.weebly.com, and you're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
This is Reverend John M. Polk from JohnPolkMedia.com, and you can listen to my show, The Quantum Hologram Matrix, every Thursday night. ETs, UFOs, metaphysics, the paranormal, and more are some of the many topics we will cover on The Quantum Hologram Matrix. Make sure you bring your higher concentric multidimensional selves. That's every Thursday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here on The Fringe FM.
Want to know what's on The Fringe FM? Check out our schedule at thefringe.fm.
Hi, this is Ryan Gable, host of the Secret Teachings radio show. If you are interested in ancient knowledge and hidden mysteries, as well as a unique and balanced perspective on conspiracies, symbols, and the occult, then join me every Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on The Fringe FM.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
You asked for it. We listened. Changes are coming to the Fringe FM. Hear the Paranormal Code with Rich Giordano live Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, starting July 9th.
July 9th. We're going to be going 4 nights a week on the Fringe FM.
Followed by Lighting the Void with me, Joe Roop, live at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. Then stay up with us in the early morning hours for some of the best paranormal and alternative programming around. The truth is out there, and so are we. The Fringe FM.
You've probably heard about all the great benefits of goat milk soap. But did you know some companies take shortcuts? At Old New England Soap, we make our organic goat's milk soap using 36% goat's milk. That's 17% more than most others. Our bars are larger, so they last longer, producing lots of lather packed with vitamins. And our soap is a natural moisturizer that smooths dry and damaged skin. Order online at oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. oldnesoap.com.
Water-based soaps on supermarket shelves use harsh chemical acids to break down dead skin cells, and that's just not good for you. At Old New England Soap, our soaps are made without chemical ingredients, contain no alcohol or petroleum products, and use 85% organic materials and carry the USDA's organic certification. Try some today. Go to oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. oldnesoap.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Paranormal. Somewhere between abnormal and paranormal.
The U.S. military holds the ability to time travel.
Jeremy Scott asks the questions that we're all dying to know.
Wow, that's a remarkable question.
Watch your step. Hide under your blankets.
The show that is going to make you think.
Prepare yourself for what you're about to hear.
This transmission is coming to
you. You're riding into the Paranormal.
Live Saturday nights at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern on KTLK, The Fringe FM.
The truth is out there.
There's something out here.
And so are we. KTLK Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM. Welcome back to Lighting the Void. I'm your host, Joe Roop. If you're listening now, you're listening on the Fringe FM. Thanks for tuning in here. We're with Thomas Sewid from HumuMuAdventures.com. Thomas has got just a few minutes left here with us, and I really appreciate you coming on the show, man, spending time with us and talking Bigfoot, because it's not something that I talk about a lot, but if I do talk about it, I try to make sure I talk about it with somebody that counts, and I consider you one of those guys, man, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. Before I forget, my cousin phoned me last night at midnight and said, you want a commercial salmon seine job? It's on a big boat, probably about a 70-footer, aluminum, 5 or 6 of us on board ship, and, we might even end up by the Alaska border, just south of it. Who knows? Captain, you go where the captain tells you, but I'm pretty much going to be out of the Sasquatch Bigfoot world until probably first week of September, 10th of September area. But my partner that I work with, I'm sort of helping him out start his business, Lucas White, on Mason, Nebraska, living on the Omaha Indian Reservation. That Indian reservation, I kid you not, is probably going to produce some very, very good evidence of Sasquatch Bigfoot in regards to daylight and nighttime FLIR images of Sasquatch, what they call Sitonga, an Omaha tongue. Well, we're helping Lucas with Omaha Sasquatch Adventures, and at $150 a day per person for 12 to 24 hours. If you're anywhere near Omaha Indian Reservation, Mason, Nebraska, right on the edge of the Missouri River, across the river, of course, is Iowa. A lot of people go, Nebraska? Well, yeah, it's all cornfields. Things with Iowa. Well, yeah, all the non-Indians went and mowed every tree down and created fields. Well, the Omaha Indian Reserve is an enclave of ancient hardwood forest of chestnut and oak, and it's just amazing. I've been there last June, and I couldn't believe the amount of vocalizations I heard, tracks, I saw my first 2 Sasquatches in a FLIR monoscope, and you'll read about it in Sasquatch Island. I won't let the cat out of the bag if you haven't heard about it, but you're going to roll your eyes and go, that stupid Indian, I can't believe you didn't do this. So anyway, it's on Sasquatch Island, the whole write-up from last June. It's all through there. Sit back with a couple beverages, have a pee, sit down with Sasquatch Island, ask to join. I'll accept you right away, and be amazed about the Indian perspective and my investigation and perspectives. Like you're hearing, I'm totally different. I'm totally have come from a different mold than Cliff Barrickman and Dr. Jeff Meldrum and Dr. John Bidernagel, may he rest in peace, my good friend. I'm a bushman. I lived in the bush. I'm a commercial fisherman. I've been an Indian all my life. I've seen the Chonokwa and the bush dances and potlatches every year of my life pretty much, and still do. And I bring a whole different perspective to Sasquatch Bigfoot, and it's all there in Sasquatch Island. But if you're going to want to see a Sasquatch for yourself, then get your ass to Macy, Nebraska. Email me at tom.sewid@gmail.com, tom.sewid@gmail.com. I'll hook you up. You just put your down payment down, 50% of how many days you want to go. They have these cabins at the Indian Reserve for their hunters to stay at and others. And they're freaking awesome. And they charge like $45 a night for up to 6 people in one of these beautiful new cabins, or these smaller ones that are even cheaper, but they're basically 3 beds and air conditioner and 1 light. But they have a shared bathroom shower unit that's on the facilities called Big Elk Campground Resort. And this place is bang on and on like Donkey Kong with Sasquatches. And I highly recommend get out there with Lucas. There is res squatching that is operating there. There are a couple natives that I met when I was there. I don't support them. They don't support me. We got a pretty much mutual agreement on that. But I do support Lucas White. You just pull into Macy, Nebraska at the set time and date. He'll be there at the gas station right downtown. You can't miss it. It's the only one in Macy. And he's going to take you out. You'll see him on my Facebook group. This guy is amazing. He will track you right on the Sasquatches. He knows their paths. He knows where the scouts are elevated, and he can sneak you up to them. And when you go to Sasquatch Island, I flew him to Seattle with Peggy, and I flew him to Seattle 3 weeks ago. And he's flat broke. His wife lost his job. He doesn't have a job. They have 6 teenage kids and younger, and they have a high unemployment rate at the Indian Reserve. That's why I'm helping them. And we flew him to Seattle, gave him a holiday, showed him the West Coast native things attributed to Sasquatch throughout downtown Seattle. And then we gave him Android 5, which is my American phone, a FLIR 1 attachment for night vision, of course, and the parabolic listening dish that can record for 12 seconds, but is also Bluetooth capable, which he figured out with the instructions. And he's out there now. He wasn't out in the field 2.5 days, and he said that. He goes, oh, look, me and my 6-year-old son videotaped this. There's a black Sasquatch comes out of the brush, walking to the edge of this field. They're on a road, and they record it. And the thing is just amazing. Any of you guys that have the software to crisp it up, stabilize it, email me. I'll send you the original clip. Do what you want. It's the first one we're releasing. He sent me some more yesterday, and it's color FLIR imagery at night. And all it is basically a blob squatch, but it's a bright boomer. But this thing moves so flippin' fast through the field and into the brush over about 20 seconds. But the amazing thing is listening to the talk between Lucas at 2 o'clock in the morning and his 16-year-old son as they're trying to get close to this thing, running down a road. But what was funny is the FLIR image of their dog, which is a trained bush dog, at their knees, and just the look on his body, that dog had a look like, okay, fine enough, I see it, I hear it, I smell it, but there ain't no bloody way I'm going after that damn thing. Too big, too fast, and it's just an amazing color FLIR. And he's got pictures of footprints, and the list goes on, structures, you name it. But if you're looking for a good summer holiday getaway investigation, and you will have to sign a contract, because if you do come up, anyone comes up with crispy images during the expedition, everyone knows before they go out the field with the contract what the share structure is. And no, we're not going to be greedy Indian and go 75-25 with you. It's fair. We have a fair breakdown for everyone. because we're talking millions of dollars if you get a Gimlin Patterson 10 times better shot with the caliber of electronic equipment we have on our cell phones now and video recorders. So we come up crispy, unlike with what Extreme Expeditions Northwest did to us with Sasquatch we filmed in March on Fleur for 13 minutes with Adam Davies. We're not going to do any of that chump chicken shit stuff. We want to have a contract signed beforehand so everyone knows where they stand. That's what it's all about. If we get a crispy image, hey, who knows? You might be going on the Sasquatch Bigfoot conference circuit, getting your rooms paid for, your travel, your meal, maybe a few bucks to get up on that stage top. This industry, Sasquatch Bigfoot, is an industry. And like any industry, we have agreements and contracts, but most of all, as guides, we bring you out there, and we're going to bust our asses to deliver to you what we are seeing and have been seeing for years. Sasquatches, Bigfoot, Tonga, Gogeet, whatever you want to call them. But they're out there, and their populations are growing, and everyone called me crazy when I was chasing whales with paying clients in the 1980s and grizzly bears and sea kayaking. Now look at it, huge industries. But I just entered the port where I got to be in Steveston, British Columbia, on the mouth of the Fraser River. It's been great chatting with you all. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. Chatter like a Sasquatch. And get a hold of me. Go to this podcast that I'm on right now and definitely communicate with them. Squeaky wheels get greased. You want me to come talk again? Especially after this fishing trip for the next couple months. I'm going to be talking with all their Indians and getting their stories and perspectives. So get a hold of your podcaster here and tell them to get Tom back on. And if not, come on over to Sasquatch Island podcast on Monster X and definitely join my group, Sasquatch Island, on Facebook. I'd be honored to have you there and like to see and hear your input, as long as it's positive. If you're negative, you get flushed. You'll see what that means when you go to the group. I thank you all very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, too,
Thank you,
my
Thomas.
friend.
You take care, man.
Okay, I better go.
Have
a good one. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Thomas Sewid, everybody. Interesting guy there. And if there was ever a reason for me to go to Canada, I know you're curious. I have said that I would never go to Canada. But if there ever was a reason for me to go to Canada, that would be it. And I would probably, I think you're right, Don's in the chat room said, we should do a Lighting the Void Bigfoot campout. Well, I can tell you, if there is a reason, I could go to the Paracon maybe, but that's not Canada actually, but I would go. But I wanted to ask him earlier when he was talking about him rolling up on that deer, because that's actually happened to me. These deer out here, they get evil when they get in rut, and it's kind of scary. So if you roll up on a buck deer that's in full rut, and if you don't know what rut means, it's just another term for, horny. That's what they're doing. They're looking for a mate. And he rolled up on him, but he never told us how he got out of there, and that's what I wanted to ask him. Has nothing to do with a Bigfoot or Sasquatch, but I was just curious, because that has actually happened to me and a couple of friends of mine. I can tell you how I got out of there. I climbed a tree. I don't know if you guys are familiar with hunting at all, and I don't want to get too country or redneck on you, but we have these stands called tree climbers, and you just get in them and you climb a tree, and it kind of sticks in the tree, and you sit on it. Well, same thing happened to me, and I had to climb a tree because this buck looked like it was going to tear me up. But that was a long time ago. But you guys have seen that video, how evil they can get. Imagine what a Sasquatch could do to you if it was pissed off, right? If they exist. Don't get me wrong. I'm still not saying they exist here, but I'm getting more and more convinced as the days go by when I talk to people like Thomas. But that video where the guy's trying to, he's trying to fight this deer. This deer's got him, and he faces him in rut, and his wife's videotaping it, and this deer is standing up on its back legs and just pounding away at its head, right? Just nailing this guy. And he's like, are you getting this, honey? Are you getting this? And he ends up having to choke the deer, like just into the ground, and he's got it in some type of Brazilian jiu-jitsu choke. And I guess the deer finally gives up, but the woods are no place to be. I haven't been out in the woods in so long. It's kind of sad. I stay cooped up here in the studio, and every now and then I just go look at the night sky, and that's pretty much all I do. But if I did go to Canada, that would be it. So we should plan a trip like that. I did not expect for him to have to bail out like that. And that's unfortunate, but it happens. It's live. Anytime you do a live show, things like that happen. And so, like I said, the call-in number is 1-800. It is 588-0335. If you want to call into the show, I don't know if you've seen a Bigfoot or if you know about Bigfoot, but I'd like to hear your story. If you can call in and talk to us about it, but I don't know if I'm a believer. If I see one, I'll tell you. That's it. And, he was telling me during the break that some people, they see Bigfoot, but they don't want to say anything, or they don't want to reveal it because they're afraid of what people will think. I know a big-time guy that's in this industry that has saw Bigfoot, and he cares so much about his integrity that he's not going to tell anybody because he can't verify it. And if you paid attention to the archives in the show, you know exactly who it is. No rutting deer in studio. Yeah. But I'm sorry, if I see a Bigfoot, I'm telling everybody. Period. It's just, I can't help it. Just like I've told everybody I've had an out-of-body experience. That's a crazy thing. People tell me, when you make statements like that, you're putting your reputation on the line. And you shouldn't do that as a radio host. Well, it's just, I can't help it. We're here to find out the truth, and that's all there is to it. I think Jeremy Scott is with us. Come in to help me out. Jeremy, you there, brother?
Joe, how are you?
I'm good. Thomas had to bail. That's awful. But that's live radio for you, right?
Yeah, you'll if you haven't learned that already, you will learn that real quick here. Have a backup plan.
I don't have a backup plan. I'm always winging it, man.
I like that style, though. I like the winging it.
I don't. I'm going to start making a backup plan from here on out. I think I'm just going to play show tunes for an hour.
You could do that. So By the way, hello to everyone on thefringe.fm tonight and over in Spreaker.
You guys, if you're missing out on Jeremy's show, you're missing out. I said missing out in the sentence twice, but you are. Saturday nights, you're on live, right? Are you still doing the Sunday thing, or are we still doing that, or no?
We do the last Sunday of the month, so check us out last Sunday of the month. But yeah, Saturday nights, holding it down at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern, for those who are interested, 3 hours here on the Fringe FM. You were talking about all this Bigfoot stuff, and I'm here in Bigfoot country, at least they tell me. Everybody tells me that Bigfoot country is here in the Pacific Northwest, and then I moved to Texas for 4 months, and they told me Bigfoot country was Texas, and in neither place I have seen a Bigfoot.
Yeah, I've never seen one, ever, anywhere. I've been to Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Florida. I've been in the woods in all these states, Oklahoma. Look, I don't know. I still don't know. Does that make me a bad person in the paranormal field? Because it's like if you don't believe in this stuff, you get marked.
But is Bigfoot paranormal?
Well, according to Thomas, it's not. It's just a natural thing that people are just not aware of. That they can pretty much mask themselves in the woods just like any other creature. And that is true. I've been deer hunting and had a deer, 10, 15 feet in front of me and didn't see it because it was masked so well. You just couldn't see it till it started moving. So I believe that. But I just don't see why no one can get anything other than a blurry picture unless Bigfoot is an actual blurry monster,
Yeah. They say that, these creatures are just so smart that you're never going to be able to capture a picture of them. And I'm thinking, well, there may be something to that. But, this is 2018. It seems like we can manipulate anything. Why isn't there maybe there are people out there manipulating fake pictures of Bigfoot. I came across one of those not too long ago, and it just happened to be some crazy guy out in the forest with a Bigfoot costume, which I don't recommend because, there are some people who like to shoot Bigfoot.
Wait a minute. You came across a guy in a Bigfoot outfit?
There are people out there. I've not personally.
Oh, I thought you said you did. I was like, whoa. Okay.
Oh, that would be quite a tale had I. No. But there are people who go out because they think it's a funny thing to do. And, of course, that is not my definition of funny. it may well end up getting you shot, which if you're not in the if you're not in the market for being shot, like you don't have a life insurance policy or anything like that on you, then I wouldn't recommend dressing up in a Bigfoot costume and going into the forest. It just doesn't sound very smart.
No, but I know that, and where I'm from, when people say, all Arkansans are flat-footed and marry their cousins, that's not true. Of course, my cousin is kind of hot, but that's not true.
Wait, repeat that again.
That's what they say. All Arkansans are. Look, you're not going to start in on me now, are you? Because that's what they say. All Arkansans are flat-footed, barefoot, flat-footed, and marry their cousins.
I have never heard of that.
Are you serious? Come on, man.
I once went down to Texarkana.
That was it. That's not even really. Did you? Which side? Because Texarkana's in Texas and Arkansas.
Just barely across.
You
the
dipped
Texas
your toes
border.
in Arkansas waters.
I dipped,
then.
Exactly.
Now, did you see any crazy cousin marrying barefoot people?
No, but there were tons of woods out there. I went hiking through the woods, and I figured, well, if I would see a Bigfoot of all places, I probably would see a Bigfoot out in the dense forest, right? Would you think? I mean, I'm not going to see one out at the swimming pool. I know it's like 128 degrees in Arizona or something like that, but you're not going to find Bigfoot at the swimming pool. If you're going to find Bigfoot, they're going to be in the forest. And so I thought, maybe I'll encounter one out here, but I never did.
Well, I think that's because they're elusive, Jeremy. They're elusive creatures. I'm being a little bit sarcastic. I don't know. I'm going to talk to Dark Waters tomorrow night. See, here's the thing. There are people that are convincing to me about this, and you got to think about it statistically, right? I know, in my experience, that's what makes me a skeptic, because I haven't seen it. But there are billions of people, I think, actually. And I don't know how many people have had an experience, but if they have, and it's very rare, then one would think that maybe it is happening. I'm sure something weird is happening. I mean, statistically, weird stuff's going to happen. But I just don't know if it's Bigfoot. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, what people may be seeing may look like a Bigfoot, may look like everything they see. But maybe what they're seeing is not this reality. Maybe there's this other portal or dimension or whatever you want to call it out there. And maybe these people, maybe their mind is going to another dimension. And maybe they really are seeing what they think they see. For instance, are you familiar with, and let me know if we got to hit the break, but are you familiar with mass hysteria?
Mass hysteria. I mean, I know what that means, but I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, mass hysteria basically is something in which, hysteria spreads amongst a large amount of people based on something that may be real, or the fact that you have fear over that thing being real. So maybe if you're terrified of vampires, your mind may go there, may tap into that portal where you now have, it's kind of like, don't let the bullies know what really gets you, because they'll just continue to do it. And maybe there's something to the fact that if you dream up something or you think of something, that you may bring that fear to life. And so over in India, in Ghana, there have been a couple of cases lately where we're talking about dozens of school children who are, you could probably say that it's as if they were possessed by demons in some cases. Others say that they have seen ghosts, some without a face and only, half a body or something like that. And the hysteria spreads from one to another, and all of a sudden you have 30 kids in one case who are experiencing these symptoms all at once. And that may be something in which everybody in that situation believes what they are seeing is the actual reality in which they're living. But much like the Bigfoot phenomena, they could actually be tapping into another dimension, another portal, another reality.
This is something that I've never heard of. I got to be honest with you. I mean, mass hysteria, so it's like everyone's influencing everyone else's psyche, and so they all start seeing
Joe,
the same thing.
Do you remember around Halloween time, 2016, so 2 years ago, where everywhere you turned, there was a story about creepy clowns?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. That was in what I believe was mass hysteria. People were reading stories about people's creepy encounters with clowns. And it actually turned out to manifest, whether in reality or whether in their mind. So there's a very, very basic example for you right there that was as recent as 2016.
War of the Worlds. Yeah, Moonlit's in the chat room said, what about War of the Worlds with Orson Welles broadcast? That was mass hysteria.
Exactly, because what Orson Welles did at the time, which, by the way, if you're up on early Saturday morning and Sunday morning on the Fringe FM, you're going to hear the War of the Worlds. And if you have youngsters in your life who are not who've never been exposed to this, you just gotta gather around the Fringe FM, because this for its time freaked people out. They believed aliens were invading the planet from Mars. And yet at the end of the whole thing, you hear it's a drama, yet people still believed, much like the landing on the moon, people back in those days believed it was all real. And
I wonder how long Orson knew that, though, and just kept playing along with it. Because I got to think he was like, how long can I get away with this before someone axes me? Right? Do they talk about that at all? I wonder.
No, I don't. Yeah, I've never. I don't know, Joe.
I mean, think about it if it was you, is what I'm saying. Like, you're broadcasting to the world about Martians or stuff. You know it's fake. And then you hear or you read an article or whatever, you get news down the wire that people are really freaking out about this thing.
Yeah,
I hate to say this, but I would probably play along with it just to see. It just has a little kind of evil experiment for maybe, I don't know, 12 hours.
Well, I think something like this, this day and age, would not be near as big of a deal. I mean, there's so much fake news out there. But 1938, there was old-time radio that told stories, but there was nothing that told a story like this of Martians invading from Mars. And that was something that, I mean, I've talked about it like with my grandparents, and they all thought it was real. And, it turned out that we very well could have been invaded by Martians, because would we even know if we were?
Right. Well, you know what I kind of think? I don't know what I don't know if I should comment about it or not, but yeah, we're kind of, I need to take a break here, but I believe there's a little bit of mass hysteria going on right now, and I might actually comment about that. You know what I'm going to do? Since Jeremy's so good to me, I'm going to ask his advice during the break and then make the decision if I'm going to comment about it. We'll be right back.
is David Oman with housesattheendofthedrive.com. You're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
Hi folks, CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
How you doing today, guys? This is Garrett Lee.
And this is Randy Warner.
From the Healers and Hellraisers podcast.
A podcast about people.
You're going to hear stories from the enlightening to the frightening.
Told by those who lived it.
Listen right here on The Fringe FM.
Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And on The Fringe Free-For-All, right here on The Fringe FM.
Who were the real ancient Egyptians? What is it about ancient Egypt that captivates us all? The critically acclaimed series Magical Egypt is back with all new episodes. Let Chance Gardner and company take you on another adventure through Magical Egypt in the new series Magical Egypt 2. Magical Egypt 2 attempts a forensic reconstruction of the science of the ancients through a study of ancient aesthetics. Also, the best researchers and authors in the field like John Anthony West, Graham Hancock, Laird Scranton, Robert Bouval, Lon Duquette, Aaron Cheek, and more join together to explore the topics of the esoteric and the hidden messages of the ancient Egyptians. Just go to magicalegypt.com right now and put in the code word FRINGE and get 10% off any download or order, including the groundbreaking original Magical Egypt series, as well as the new episodes in Magical Egypt 2. Also, check out the great work and the companion series at magicalegypt.com. Click the banner on the Fringe FM or go to magicalegypt.com and use the code word FRINGE and get 10% off your order today while it lasts.
Hi folks, let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply, and of course the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic. And very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
Lighting the Void is proud to announce Mind and Magic's Protection and Defense Course for protection from magical and psychic attacks. This is not a joke. Magic practitioners are on the rise, and with that comes attacks from baneful or black magicians that try to harm or hurt others for their own selfish reasons. If you are not a believer in psychic attacks, then this isn't for you. If you are, and you want the power to defend yourself and your family and home, then I highly suggest you grab Freighter Xavier's Protection and Defense Course. In this course, you will learn how to tell if you are under attack from a natural source or if an individual is attacking you. The 4 forms of curses and attacks. How to remove self-imposed curses. The correct way to cleanse your home from negativity or malevolent entities. How to make your own holy water. What you should always keep near or under your bed. Herbs that banish negativity and promote purity. The most powerful banishing rituals on the planet. And for those that seem to want to harm you the most, how to put your enemies in a hell pit of their own making. You can also learn protection against shadow people and other entities. Or are you just in a bad planetary alignment? Even how to get rid of an enemy using a tic-tac box. It does not matter what your faith or belief is, this will work. Click the banner on the website at lightingthevoid.com or go to lightingthevoid.com/Xavier.
This is Cortana from Shift Happens, telling you to pour a glass and park your ass if you're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM. Shiftheads.
1-800-588-0335. 1-800-588-0335 is the call-in number. Let me say that again because I got tongue twisted there. 1-800-588-0335. We just had Thomas Sewid on from HumuMuAdventures.com, one of the best Sasquatch guys in the field you could talk to. And Jeremy Scott, host of Into the Paranormal, is joining us here now. And he's really helping me out. But it's always fun talking to you, Jeremy, by the way. Have I ever
likewise,
told you that?
Joe. Likewise.
Ever told you how special you are?
Dozens of times.
So I know you love researching this stuff. You know, last night we had John Greenwald on when we were talking documents from the Black Vault. And what did you find? You got some kind of document there you want to talk about?
Well, this is from the vault. This is from the FBI's vault, which you can simply go to vault.fbi.gov, vault.fbi.gov. Now, there was this report came out of the UK last week that basically said for 50 years, the Ministry of Defense over in the United Kingdom was worried that China and Russia had in their possession a UFO that had, well, super weapons. And they were worried about being behind, you know, in the event of a world war as far as a technology. The ability to fly these aircraft with advanced technology and to recreate that and use it on a large scale. And so because they were worried that these two other countries, being China and Russia, were beating them in this race, they opened up 2 UFO bureaus, which did close in 1997. Well, apparently for 50 years... 5 decades, the Ministry of Defense spent the taxpayers' money, very similar to what happened, but not nearly as long as what happened here with the revelation from the Pentagon back in December, that we spent all this money from the Department of Defense budget from Senator Harry Reid, who did the work behind the scenes to make that happen, to supposedly investigate UFOs. Well, for 20 years, they had the same thing going on in the United Kingdom. And for 50 years, the government there was trying to catch up with this technology. And why, for 50 years, would they need, why 50 years prior to the closing of the UFO bureaus in 1997? We know Nick Pope. Okay, Nick Pope worked at the Ministry of Defense. That bureau, the bureaus closed down in 1997. Now, if you fast forward 50 years, where does that put us, Joe? 1940s.
Yeah. Okay.
1947.
Gotcha.
What happened in 1947?
Well, isn't that what we're celebrating this weekend at the Roswell thing?
Precisely. So July 8th, 1947. We are now at the, you're going to make me do math now, 70, is it 71 years?
That's close enough. No one's going to hold you to it.
71 years. I'll teach you my math trick later on. 71 years since Roswell. Here we are. Okay. Now, everybody's saying, well, you know, disclosure. I mean, guy has got dozens of programs, hundreds of programs on disclosure. Everybody's talking about disclosure. But their definition of disclosure is President Trump or President Clinton or President Obama or President Bush or whoever the next one is. Their definition of disclosure is that person getting up on a pulpit and proclaiming to the world what I already know. And I'll only speak for myself. But I suspect a lot of the audience believes that extraterrestrials are real, have visited us on Earth, have never left, and are still watching us today. If you think I'm full of beans, Joe, give him that toll-free number.
If you think I'm full of beans, yeah, you're the best, Jeremy. Oh, yeah, the number. My bad. Yeah, 1-800-588-0335. Who would ever say that, though? I don't think you're full of beans. That's a document saying that, you know, the Roswell document that John talked about, It doesn't say the name of the informant, but a guy did, put in there that there was bodies. I guess they were like 3 foot, wearing some type of silver, or I guess I don't remember if it was silver or metallic looking clothing, if I remember it correctly. I'm sure I'm screwing something up here, but I mean, I believe that too. When I say that 80 to 90% of these aircraft we're seeing, I think, are military, it doesn't mean that, that some of them are aliens. The probability alone would tell us that that's true. But what creeps me out is, what are they capable of? That's what creeps me out. That's what keeps me up at night.
Well, they're capable of flying into our airspace, causing mass hysteria, abducting humans, and using them for whatever scientific experiments they so desire. All of that is documented. Now, to say that one or 2 people or a dozen people or 100 people or even 1,000 people are making this stuff up, okay. But there are tens upon thousands of alien abduction stories. I mean, we know of hundreds of reports that come in all the time, every month, to UFO organizations here in the U.S. and elsewhere. And so to say that some of these craft are not alien craft, and to say that extraterrestrials don't exist is quite frankly naive. This document talks about, which you can find at vault.fbi.gov, clicking on unexplained phenomena, and then when it loads up that page, you're going to scroll down almost to the bottom, and you'll find the UFO section. It says, in 1947, a rash of sightings of unexplained flying objects swept America. Although the newly formed U.S. Air Force was the primary investigator of these sightings, the FBI received many reports and worked for a time with the Air Force to investigate these matters. This release details the FBI's role in investigating such reports between 1947 and 1954. So we have that very, very mysterious 1947 date. And there were other sightings that happened and crashes and events that happened in 1947 as well. And this document originated by the government out of San Diego, California, dated July 8th, 1947, which is the same date as the Roswell crash, details these craft. It says this memorandum is respectfully addressed to certain scientists of distinction, to important aeronautical and military authorities, to a number of public officials, and to a few publications. And it goes on. There's a very serious situation may develop at any time with regard to flying saucers. If any, the print is very, very small, and it was, from 71 years ago, so it's hard to see. But if one of those should be attacked, the attacking plane will almost certainly be destroyed, meaning if they sent planes to corral a UFO, likely the technology on that would shoot down the plane. There's no other way.
Is that something? Is it saying that, or is that something you're saying?
No, that is a direct quote.
Really?
And it goes on to say, in the public mind, this might create near panic and international suspicion. The principal data concerning these craft, and again, the print is hard to read, is something at hand and must be offered, no matter how fantastic and unintelligible it may seem to minds not previously instructed in thinking of this type. So basically, they're telling everybody, open up your mind. Part of the discs carry crews. Now, we can only imagine what kind of crews, extraterrestrial crews. Others are under remote control. Their mission is peaceful. They're talking about the aliens here. The visitors contemplate settling on this planet. These visitors are human-like, but much larger in size. They are not excarnate Earth people, but come from their own world. They do not come from any planet, as so we use the word, but from an, as some can't even read this, from a something planet which interpenetrates with our own and is not perceptible to us. So just think about that. Something that we cannot see. Craft that can exist in our airspace, but we don't see them until they want us to see them, which would explain UFO reports all over the world dating back 1947, 71 years since. That would explain exactly that you see it one moment and the next moment it's gone. Because
this can't be the first time this document's been out, right? I mean, surely, or is this something that you just stumbled upon? I'm
sending you the link so you can click on that, what I just sent you, and then when you get there, scroll down to page 22, and you can read along with me. There's just a couple more points that I'd like to read here. And again, this is all from an official government document at vault.fbi.gov. When you click on Unexplained Phenomena on the right-hand side, scroll down to where it says... This? Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. When you scroll down, go to UFO section, part 1, and then page 22. The bodies of the visitors and the craft also automatically materialize on entering the vibratory weight of our something matter. So basically, they don't exist until they come into our plane, or until they come into whatever you want to say. So the ability that they have, again, to turn it on and off is unlike any aircraft that exists. And again, our government knew about it back in 1947. It says the discs possess a type of radiant energy or array which will easily disintegrate any attacking ship. So if you try to send aircraft after it, like I said, they're going to blow it to smithereens. And that's pretty much the basics of it.
What's the year on this thing? Did you say that already? 1947. Yeah, you said that already.
Get this, Joe. Dated the same day as the Roswell event, July 8th, 1947. Coincidence? I think not.
Part of the disc carries, others are under remote carries something. I don't know. Carries crews. Yeah, others are under remote control. Their mission is peaceful. The visitors contemplate settling on this plane. These visitors are human-like, but much larger. They are not, what is that, excarnate Earth people? This is
exactly. So those first 5 points basically highlight it. The fact that you can't attack them, that they look like us, but they're from another plane, and the fact that these craft can be remote controlled, sent into our atmosphere with no crew members, or with extraterrestrial crew members. And you wonder, well, how are these things being flown? Well, if you talk to those in which who have been abducted, who have experienced onboard experiences on UFOs involving extraterrestrials, they would tell you that the pilots, the aliens, appear to be steering the ship, the mother ship, yet they're not doing it physically. They're doing it with their minds, which explains everything that goes on with extraterrestrials. They don't talk verbally, they talk telepathically. So their way of doing stuff is light years advanced than us. If you imagine where they were, if you read that document, which you have now, Joe, and forever and ever, you'll have that document there because it's live in public. And you just think, okay, if our governments knew about this in 1947, not just our governments, because as I said, the UK Ministry of Defense for 50 years, starting in 1947 until 1997 when they closed their 2 UFO bureaus over there, they knew something was up. And so if the extraterrestrials had this much of a jump start on us. They were this far advanced in 1947. Where do you think they are now in 2018?
Well, this would explain a lot, that's for sure.
It would.
But this is a document that they had to keep records. According to this document, this was sent from. It was received. Who sent this document? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Was it just some random report from? It just says SAC Milwaukee.
Yeah, this would have been either a document from either the Air Force, who was the primary investigator. It could have also been an FBI document. It doesn't say exactly on this specific document, although it may on the one previous. Oh, here it is. So if you scroll up one page to page 21, you will see that it was directed to, or rather from, the director of the FBI in Sacramento, I believe that is, Seattle, and Portland. It was an actual FBI memo. Back in the day, they called it a teletype, not a memo. So this was a report from the FBI addressed to a lieutenant colonel, likely with the Air Force.
Gotcha. That's what I'm just trying to figure out the source of it, because that matters. I mean, because what I'm saying is according to what is this? A region from which they come is not the astral plane. So they were talking about the astral plane back in 47.
Exactly. So if we knew about it in 1947 and they were this far advanced back then, now you think of how far we've advanced. Well, we have automatic vehicles. We have digital television. We have voice over internet. We have all this stuff. We're technologically advanced. We're more technologically advanced than the previous probably 2 generations. I mean, my parents, they got televisions, not when they were kids, but, when they were old enough to have kids. And so you just think about generations and how mankind has evolved. And it's pretty impressive, that we've got so far. But if the extraterrestrials were so far advanced back then, they've got to be millions of light years more advanced than we are now.
Yeah, for sure. I just, this is a lot. There's a lot here. It looks like there's several reports on here.
Well, Joe, I think you could probably spend all night. Not only is there 59 documents within that 69 documents within that section, and this is just section 1 of these documents, but there are 16 parts. So if they have as many documents as that did, we're talking about thousands of documents here on UFO matters. And that one right there is probably the best place to start, but there's a lot of information here. Probably way too much than we could pack into an entire week of your shows.
Yeah.
But if you want to see it yourself, you just go to vault.fbi.gov/UFO. vault.fbi.gov/UFO. It is real simple. All of the information is there. So when somebody says, well, I hope that we disclose this, you tell them we already have.
That's a pretty good it's a pretty good report there, Jeremy.
It's not bad for making it all up.
No, you didn't make this up. It's there, man. I'm looking at it, so I appreciate that. I know we got one last break here to take. I don't know if you're going to hang out with us or not, but we can figure that out during the break. But man, this is blowing my mind here. I'm probably going to stay up until the sun comes up reading this stuff.
I'll come back with you after the break.
Cool.
We'll see how long we go.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere.
to Lighting the Void Radio.
Follow The Fringe FM on Facebook and Twitter at The Fringe FM.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
Tired of talking about the weather? No, Shift. Well, Shift Happens is here to fulfill your desires as you reach that point in life where you crave tantalizing conversation about reality, ufology, the occult, and the conspiracies within, while simultaneously finding yourself desperately in need of your very own theme music, which we've got plenty of that too. So be sure to tune in to Shift Happens every Friday night from 7 to 9 Pacific, right here on The Fringe FM. Because the weather sucks, and you need some theme music.
You've probably heard about all the great benefits of goat milk soap, but did you know some companies take shortcuts? At Old New England Soap, we make our organic goat's milk soap using 36% goat's milk. That's 17% more than most others. Our bars are larger, so they last longer, producing lots of lather packed with vitamins. And our soap is a natural moisturizer that smooths dry and damaged skin. Order online at oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. oldnesoap.com.
Water-based soaps on supermarket shelves use harsh chemical acids to break down dead skin cells, and that's just not good for you. At Old New England Soap, our soaps are made without chemical ingredients, contain no alcohol or petroleum products, and use 85% organic materials and carry the USDA's organic certification. Try some today. Go to oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. oldnesoap.com.
Don't feed the archons. Feed ducks instead. And listen to Shift Happens on The Fringe FM. Fridays, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific. Cortana out. Quack.
Hey, Fringe FM listeners. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or no Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the Fringe FM by calling 701-719-3971. No smartphone app or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 701-719-3971. That's 701-719-3971. Listen to the Fringe FM on any phone, anytime, anywhere.
The Fringe FM. Welcome back to Lighting the Void. I'm your host, Joe Roop. We are here live on the Fringe FM. At the first part of the show, we talked to Thomas Sewid, Bigfoot researcher, hunter, guide. Pretty interesting guy. Some would say he's a little rough around the edges, but he's all about the truth, and he's one of the top guys in the Bigfoot field, in my opinion. And now we're here with host of Into the Paranormal, Jeremy Scott, who is talking to me about some documents from the FBI vault, which I'm kind of embarrassed that I never read. I think I have heard a couple of these because I've been kind of browsing through them, Jeremy, but I didn't know there was this many back during that time, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, any of the top guests that you've heard speak on these subjects have probably got a lot of their information about that. In fact, there's an entire section on the Roswell UFO case, an entire section on that. They also address cattle mutilations, animal mutilations as they call it, ESP. There's also a section just on Project Blue Book, which was the Air Force name for a project that investigated UFOs between, 1947 until 1969. And then there was an organization in 1989 that called itself New Project Blue Book. And so there's a section on that. They also talk about the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena, NICAP, as you may have heard, which was founded in the 50s to research UFO phenomena. Majestic 12 in 1988, which was involving Operation Majestic 12, and President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a secret committee created to exploit a recovery of an extraterrestrial aircraft and cover up perhaps maybe what the UK was worried about China and Russia having, and many, many more documents. In fact, a guy by the name of Silas Newton, who was born in the late 1800s, it was said to be a wealthy oil producer and a con man who claimed that he had a gadget that could detect minerals and oil. The fact that he's a con man should say it all. And also a memo or a section involving a former FBI special agent in charge by the name of Guy Hotel, and specifically information regarding a memo in 1950 in which he sent to the FBI concerning flying saucers. And in fact, let's pull that one up right now and see what, in fact, Guy said. An investigator for the Air Force stated that the so-called flying saucers had been recovered in New Mexico. This is dated March 22nd, 1950. They were described as being circular in shape with raised centers approximately 50 feet in diameter. Each one was occupied by 3 bodies of human shape but only 3 feet tall, dressed in metallic clothing of a very fine texture. Each body was bandaged in a manner similar to the blackout suits used by speed flyers and test pilots. And this goes on and on. In fact, he says the government had set up high-powered radar in the area, and that may have what interfered with the flying saucers. So the government setting up radar because they believed extraterrestrials in a craft were coming to Roswell, and there you go. They knew about it. Why would they have set up radar if they didn't know that something was coming? How would they know that extraterrestrials were coming? Were they previously briefed on this? Did they not share that with the American public?
Well,
or did they somehow have a revelation, a momentary strike of brilliance in which they said, I just think it's going to be now? I highly doubt that last one was what happened. They knew.
Well, I don't know. See, here's what I'm seeing here. And I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, and I could be wrong about this because I haven't read all of these documents, but according to what I'm seeing here, they were ordered to study, or they were ordered to report any reports of these flying saucers. Like, they considered it important. So a lot of these reports are coming from people. See, at first, I'm not saying these people are lying. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't think it means that every one of these reports are real, is all I'm saying, Jeremy. That's what my
here's an FBI special agent saying the government set up radar in the area. I mean, what does he have to gain by saying something like that? I mean, he's retired. Right. He's probably dead right now. If he sent this memo in 1950, that's 68 years. I mean, so if the guy, there's a chance he could be alive, a very, very small chance.
Well,
I've never heard of this guy, coming out with a book or anything to try to make a buck off. And I'm with you. We should be skeptical about every single claim that we hear. But this is official government stuff, direct from the files and the vault of the FBI. We should give that, more credibility than, the YouTube channels who post, videos of UFOs, or people who say that they've time traveled or anything like that. This is official documentation.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is a lot of this is official documentation of reports they received because they were ordered to take in and study, to take all of these reports seriously. And at this time, if they even thought, just like I mentioned to John and a couple other people, if they even thought that ETs or UFOs are real, then it would be a super high priority, right? But that's not what they're telling us now. What they're telling us now with the To the Stars thing is they found that it was, money was better spent elsewhere. All I'm saying is this looks like reports that they had to take in because they were ordered to, not to mention they considered it an extreme high priority for safety reasons, for national security reasons.
Has our government ever officially come out and said they are not still spending money on this?
No, they said they're not spending money on the recent projects, but they didn't say on this, subject.
Well, correct, but during that time, 2007 to 2012, most of the money from the entire funding of the DoD went to Bigelow Aerospace, funded by Bob Bigelow, the guy who used to who owned the ranch, the famous ranch where all the paranormal stuff happens, Skinwalker Ranch. So Bob Bigelow has all this money that's been given to him by the government. Now, the funding and the official program may have stopped in 2012, although Luis Elizondo, who was the head of that program, says it is still going on today and that somebody else took over after he left. So maybe the money's not coming direct from the government, and they're potentially right about that. But it's coming from Bob Bigelow and Bigelow Aerospace because the government gave it to him.
That makes sense. Dear sir, have you ever seen one of these mysterious, quote, saucers? What did it look like? ? Do you think these strange celestial manifestations, the wording here is very, I'm kind of astonished by it. Have you ever seen one of these celestial manifestations are harbingers of a better day? ? Do you believe it means that a new and revolutionary advance is coming? ? Will it make your life brighter, happier, more useful? We believe one of these startling discs is on its way to you. Then the secret will be out. This is this is just another report that somebody sent that they have to do it because they're ordered to. That's my point.
Yeah, but if the government didn't think that there was an actual threat, like Homeland Security, Homeland Security wouldn't exist if terrorists weren't getting on our planes with shoe bombs.
Yeah.
This is created because, as events happen, here in my neck of the woods. There was never a marijuana bureau, but, we have a marijuana bureau now because the state legalized marijuana a couple years ago. And so if there's a need for it, it's going to be created. They're not just going to, well, people might argue the government wastes our money all the time. But, they wouldn't waste our money investigating UFOs if they know that they're not real. That's just my opinion on the matter.
Right. Well, sure, they know something's there. I mean, I still think that. So you don't think that the disclosure event in December is a big deal, right? That, what you're saying is it's been here already. We've already been doing this.
If you want the information on Nimitz, the Tic Tac UFO, it's been out there.
330 area code. You're on the air.
Hey Joe, this is Moody. How you doing tonight, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for calling. What's on your mind?
Hey, what Justin's talking about, and his name is Justin, right?
No, it's Jeremy.
Jeremy, I'm sorry, Jeremy. what he's talking about, a lot of his memos and stuff that he's referring to aren't just stuff that's called in and stuff like that. A lot of this stuff's going back as far as when Tesla and Einstein and all them were doing their research, and a lot of these documents go back as far as that, and these aren't just like public stuff calling in. These aren't just like reports and stuff like that. I've done research on this stuff going back like 20 years and stuff. And
you're fading out a little bit, brother.
You hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. A lot of this stuff is going back, and it's just not just, public interest stuff where people, called in making reports. A lot of this stuff is actual research that Einstein and them did, and that the government got a hold of, and, it was part of the stuff that they were following these guys doing. And this stuff was real deal stuff way back then. And when you were talking about astro travel and all this other stuff, that stuff's been around, forever. And
well, I knew they talked about it in the 70s, but I had no idea they were talking about it back in the 30s and 40s.
Oh yeah, it goes way, way back, and they were, Tesla and them were, making up devices so they could, communicate with other planets and all kinds of other stuff in the day. And when you talk about disclosure, my big thing that I want to call in was talking about disclosure. The government has released stuff for over 50 and 60 years about disclosure, little bit at a time, and people keep waiting for the government to come out and say, okay, well,
71
here's the deal,
years.
and this is happening. This, yeah,
71 years.
71 years. Yeah, okay. Ever since Roswell, but the biggest thing is they've been releasing a little bit by little bit, and then then they'll turn around and they'll say they'll another general will hear about it, and then they'll say no, we didn't say that and stuff like that. But if you're waiting for the government to come out and make a big speech about it, it's too late. I mean, if you're waiting for, to see the motherships all above us and stuff like that, then that means that, we're having an invasion. And, and you're screwed, okay? The government has talked about it all along, and, people, as far as the heads of corporations and stuff like that have talked about it. We've had all the disclosure we need to know. We just have been ignoring it. And that's the whole problem, is we're waiting to be slapped around about it. But we've had all the discussion about disclosure we need to have. We just need to accept it.
Well, what I want, here's the thing, though, Kevin, is my biggest stickler about all this is it's not that I'm not trying to accept this. I believe it. And I'll just tell you on the record right now on the air, I believe in UFOs. I also believe in extraterrestrials, and, what I want, and what I think a lot of people want, is evidence that substantiates the claim, like as it was if you were in a courtroom. Now, you could submit all of these documents to a judge, right? And they all could be unsubstantiated, right? They all could be just a report from some person, or this guy claims to have saw this, or this was reported, or they put up radar. But no one's coming out with, photographic evidence or anything like that I think I want that. Now, I don't want it because I want it to prove it to myself, or I want others to be proven that, don't believe it. I want it so we can move past it, just like you want to move past it. That's why I want it.
Right. But, okay, well, here's the deal. They went through all this stuff when it came out about Area 51. They took the government to court because of these guys that were, because of the open pit burning of the chemicals from the outside shells of the coatings and stuff they were putting on the outside of the airplanes, okay? These guys that had the alligator skin and everything like that, damage to their bodies and stuff like that, and they were dying from it. Okay, they finally went to court and everything like that, to federal court, and after years and years of litigation, they finally got the government to go ahead and admit one time in court that there was an Area 51. Okay? but they couldn't get the government to admit to any kind of that they were doing open pit burning or anything else out there. And they couldn't get the government to admit to any of the chemicals that they were using, to take responsibility to help these guys, to get the information over to their doctors to help cure these guys before they died. Okay? But they admitted one time that there was an Area 51. And that's all they could get them to do. Now, if they couldn't even get something like that, when we know it's in a peace treaty with the Russians that they can overfly with their satellites and photograph it, we have our own imaging satellites that are from the United States corporations that you can buy photographs online of Area 51. You used to be able to go out and stand over public land and look down on top of Area 51. We have fighters and other people, fighter pilots and everybody else that used to fly the planes out of there that will tell you that, yeah, I used to do this all the time. We've got, people that have testimony, security guards and
well, that's a good point.
Testimony
does hold up in court. Good point.
If we don't exist and everything else, we still can't get them to take any kind of responsibility on just that one little thing. How are you going to get them to go ahead and say, yeah, there are aliens out there, and we have nothing to do to protect ourselves against it, and we just have to accept that and go along about your business? If we can't even get them to do it, to say, yeah, we were using chromium dioxide as one of the 10,000 chemicals, how are you going to expect them to go ahead and say, yeah, hey, they're out there, and we have nothing we can do. We can't even figure out how to time sync a phaser.
That's exactly my point. That's what I think they don't want to admit, that they aren't in control of the situation. That's why they'll never come out and fully disclose it, because they don't want anybody to know that situations are out of control or that they don't know something. You see what I mean?
That War of the Worlds program that was done back in the 30s or whatever it was with Orson Welles.
Yeah.
They did a remake of it in a Spanish language, and they did it down in Central America about 12 years ago. And they started doing the program down there. They ended up having rioting in the streets, and they had to cut it off halfway through the program because people also believed it was real and they were being invaded by space aliens, and people freaked out again.
I see your point.
And they had to cut it off. Okay? And all this goes back to the Billings report and everything else, that people cannot be told that aliens are real because it'll break down the society. Religions will just collapse and everything else. The Billings report that came out, back in 54 or something like that, saying that you cannot ever let the American public or the people of the world know about it, or society will instantly break down. And then they do a little radio program, and that just reinforces the entire thing, letting people know that, no, you can never let them know that straight out, or the shit will hit the fan.
Well, I appreciate your call, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you. You do. Case closed. What do you think about that, Jeremy? Does he make some points?
He makes some very good points. And the fact that Orson Welles in 1938 originated this broadcast, what did he know that everybody else seemingly didn't know or couldn't talk about? And who was he told that by? Because this is 1938, so now 80 years ago, Orson Welles does a radio drama about Martians from Mars invading. So you talk about an advanced language and some of these documents from 1947 and some of the terminology, which certainly did not seem to match the time period in which it was from. So speaking of, extraterrestrials being so far advanced, Orson Welles for his time was so far advanced, was so much more in the know than anybody else, because he made a radio drama about it in 1938. And so my question is, what did he know and who was he told by?
So, yeah, I see. But that's, to me, that I hate to be that guy, but that's more speculation. But, yeah, I could see that, for sure. I mean, how could he make all that stuff up? But you were talking about mass hysteria earlier. I think we got two things going on. We got a government pushing the mob back just to get us to shut up. We also got these whistleblower distractions about these beings that are here to protect us and all this other stuff. And I think it's just it's a big mess right now when after all of these years, no one will just say, we got everything we need. I get that. But nobody will just come out and say, okay, it's real, because they're too afraid we can't handle it because we didn't handle Orson Welles. Do you really think that I could handle it, but maybe Kevin's right. Maybe the world can't handle it. I don't know.
You can't handle the truth.
That's the truth, yeah.
Well, number one, who are you to tell me what I can handle? And number two, the polls, the public opinion polls, would show you otherwise. There are many out there that would say, conflicting everything what we just mentioned without getting into specifics. So the information is out there.
Who cares about the religious people? Sorry, but who cares? It's time to get over it. And just because there's aliens out there doesn't mean that your religion's not true. I mean, it just could be just a little off on the semantics. That's all.
What if God wasn't what if God was on a need to know basis?
Yeah, there you go. Everything is on a need to know basis. That's the problem.
Maybe God did not need to know.
It's
or as some would say, maybe God was an extraterrestrial.
Yeah, that's a very prominent thing right now. Many books have been written about that for sure. I don't want to bust anybody on religion, but when you have a being that says, "Hey, love me or die, and die for eternity and suffering," my dad, he used to beat me, but he'd only beat me for a little bit, and he loved me. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But then again,
yeah, that's like the women who stay with their abusive boyfriends. Right. Women, leave them right now.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole psychological process I don't want to get into about that because I don't want to make any women mad. But, I watched my mother go through that. And we're talking about some really personal stuff right here at the end of the show. It's been an amazing night. Jeremy, you know what, man? You come in and save the day on this show. Live radio is teaching me a lesson after lesson after lesson. But I can't thank people enough, my friends and the listeners and my colleagues and my team like you for coming in here and making it one hell of a night, brother. I appreciate it.
Well, you can only own the night with our help, and so we know you're going to do that.
Man, I don't know. I'm going to try. I don't know. I don't know about that, but I'm going to do my best. It's got to be fun. That's what's the most important thing. Because if it's not fun anymore, why are we even doing this? But thank you,
Amen,
Jeremy.
brother.
I appreciate it, man.
My pleasure.
We're going to get out of here, guys. Don't forget, same time tomorrow night, same call-in numbers. Everything, same, except the guest is different. Dark Waters is going to be with us. You ain't going to want to miss that one. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Good night.